All right, here we go at long last. Ben Baller, welcome to VladTV. Long time coming.
No, I think we've been talking about this for over 10 years.
Yeah, I ran into you, I think at a Korean restaurant.
Japanese restaurant.
Japanese restaurant, my bad. You're right, in downtown somewhere.
10 years ago, dude.
10 years ago, we've kept in touch here and there. But, we finally started talking about doing it, I think, last year.
Yeah.
And here we are.
It's amazing. Thank you for having me.
Of course, man. Of course. Your first time here. I want to start in the very beginning.
Yeah.
So, your mom moved to America.
Yeah.
From where?
From Korea. From South Korea.
From South Korea.
Yeah.
Okay. And your dad's actually from North Korea.
My dad, well, he's from Korea. It wasn't North Korea then.
Aha.
It was just one full Korea. And then the war happened. So he was born and raised in Pyongyang, which is the capital of North Korea.
Aha.
Thing is, the war happened. So everyone migrated over. When he migrated over, my mom had this is a crazy story. I didn't know my mom had an identical twin sister.
Oh, okay.
Until I was 9 or 10 years old. If I think a little deeper, I can find the exact age. But a lot of families, if you're our age, and I would say if you're about 45 or older and you're Korean American, there's no possible way that you don't have some sort of relative that was lost in that shuffle. I'd say 60% of people have some relative that got stuck in North Korea. And you're talking about today to this day. They still don't have internet there. Of course, Kim Jong-un does, you know what I'm saying? Like, them, they have that. But all you're going to see is North Korean propaganda being played. Like, there are finally, I guess, hotels and things like that and whatever. My dad just passed away a month or two ago. You can't just buy a ticket to North Korea. You can't just buy a plane ticket there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways that, you have to do things. And you have to go through via Beijing. So there's a lot of things. So anyways, my father, he walked over. Now, the crazy part about it is this. It's about equivalent to walking from Fresno to here.
Which is like what? Take you a week to walk it?
I mean, I couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
And you're talking about, he was fairly young. So he didn't see his mom for 35, 40 years.
Wow.
So that's pretty tough, There's no phone. There's no nothing. He was able to locate her through letters and everything else. And went through. It was a crazy story. My dad just passed away 2 months ago. And, he started a nonprofit organization called One Korea Movement. He was trying to reunify North and South. So he had a good relationship with Kim Il-sung, who was the first dictator president there. His son, Kim Jong-il, ended up being, and then he passed, and now Kim Jong-un. That was a dude who was going to private school in Europe and all that stuff. So anyways, yeah, so my mom and dad came here 1968, probably somewhere around there. Yeah, 68. My brother was born in 65, so about 68, I think, yeah. My brother was born in Seoul.
Okay. I mean, it's pretty crazy because does your dad remember some of the crazy things that were happening as North Korea was becoming a thing with the communist revolution and everything?
100 million%.
Yeah.
My dad probably made 25, 30 trips to North Korea in the last 50 years.
Really? So
Yeah.
he was going back and forth?
He was going back and forth.
Right. It's crazy over there now. Like they just executed a young guy for listening to K-pop.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
There were people being executed. There's all kinds of crazy stuff. My brother and sister went to North Korea mid to late 80s, and they asked me if I wanted to go, and I was like, I'm not going. I refused to. My father and my mom divorced each other in 84. My mom waited 7 years before she went to South Korea just to go back home. Intelligence in secondary stopped her. She was there 48 hours in secondary, stripped her naked, the whole nine. And at that point, she was like, fuck this, I don't want to be here. Because they had files on my dad. Now, the crazy thing was they could never arrest my dad because he never did business with them. There'd be espionage if he never accepted money. He was just really trying to connect people with their... My dad never cared about money. It's a crazy thing. My dad was only about religion, classical music, and education, and that was it. He was professor at UCLA for over 30 years.
Right. Yeah, I interviewed Dennis Rodman not too long ago.
Yeah.
And remember he would go and hang out.
Yeah.
Kim Jong-un.
Yeah.
And I remember like the government would say that Dennis knows more about Kim Jong-un than anyone in America. then their Secret Service, their
I would
FBI.
believe it. I'd believe it.
You know, like Dennis announced, you know, was talking about hanging out with Kim Jong-un's daughter. No one even knew he had a daughter back then.
Yeah.
Then lo and behold, years later, you see the daughter. So yeah, it's a very interesting society.
I mean,
man.
I have a picture in my phone right now that I would guarantee that probably, I could say it's historical. I can say it's. I don't even want to. I don't know. One in 7 point. How many billion? There's 8 billion people in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say 1 in exactly 8 billion people, or even higher than that, cannot have a picture like this. But my dad is standing next to Kim Il Sung and Kim Jong Il.
Wow.
Next to each other, and he's in the middle of them. And I have a picture on my phone, like right now, like they're standing together on a stage, and it's like fucking nuts, right? It's not Adolf Hitler, but I mean it's something. You know what I mean? You're talking about the last hardcore to this day true radical country, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just a weird thing. And so, yeah, my mom's been here since then. Her sisters came over. She came from a family of 9. My dad had 2 sisters. I think they had passed away out there. They were lost in the shuffle. Half of my mom's family married into Polish and Israeli Jew. So my cousins were Jewish. So it was a weird upbringing coming up in LA at that time and stuff.
Okay. So where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Koreatown. So
Koreatown.
I was like, yeah.
Okay. And at 9 years old, you went to jail for stealing at Sears.
Yeah, and Cerritos.
In Cerritos.
Yeah.
Okay. How did your immigrant parents take that?
So this is a funny thing. My dad was a 목사님. So anyone Korean listen to this, you would know what that is. Basically a pastor of church.
Mm-hmm.
Very small church that ended up being a huge church later. And it's still a huge church today. But this was like an early thing with community in Los Angeles. And my mom worked 80 to 100 hours a week. She sold dresses. So you're talking about 2 parents that are like really grinding it out to get my brother and sister a better education. I'm the youngest. I'm a fucking troublemaker. I'm out in the streets, latchkey kid, running around. So imagine you being 9 years old, okay, today. Times has changed so much, right? It's been decades. Imagine being 9 years old in somewhere near Staples Center, right? Or Crypto.com Arena. Imagine taking a bus to Cerritos. Do you know where Cerritos, California is? Do you know where Cerritos is?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine taking a bus, Metro, back then it was called RTD. Imagine finding the schedules, figuring out where to change in downtown, and taking a bus to Cerritos, to the mall. And like, this is what I was doing. And it was a big tent sale because they were remodeling the inside of Sears. So there's a bunch of stuff on the outside. The crazy thing was, I could have got away with it, but I got greedy. It's like, I don't know if there's like that, whatever the story, you see like a rat picking up a bunch of cheese, whatever, boom, he's like, fuck this, and he keeps getting it, whatever, and he gets so much he can't take everything he had. So my eyes were a lot bigger than my pockets were. So basically, ColecoVision was the hottest video game system at the time.
Yeah, had the Donkey Kong.
Yeah, Donkey Kong and Galaxian and Galaga and all that stuff. So I basically grabbed a Sega. I had ColecoVision, which is I think Sega bought them anyway. So there was a tent. So imagine a tent, right? Like the floor, gigantic parking lot. So I was looking around. And I'm trying to see if there's loss prevention or security, whatever. I didn't see nobody. So I was pushing the things under the tent because the tent just opens up. Then like I would do one thing. Then I would go out of the tent and I'd grab it. This is one thing I'll never forget. And I was like, wow. Now there was a Nordstrom in the mall. And for some reason at Nordstrom, they had big shopping bags that you could just take. Why? That makes no sense. I understand if you're buying stuff, but why would you take it before? So we grabbed a bunch of those, put the ColecoVision in there. And I was like, yo, you should go back and get video games now. Because we didn't have money to buy a ColecoVision. We had money to buy video games. Mm-hmm. So I grabbed like 8 video games. At that point, I didn't realize that was grand theft larceny. I went over the thing. So we get away with it. My cousin goes back to go steal some really small headset. I get a Nordstrom bag, cover all the stuff up. So I have a bag you can carry, right? Like a regular shopping bag. I put a bag on top of it to cover it so you couldn't see that stuff was in there. We walk, get onto the bus. This Mexican dude, he's a security guard, is on the bus with us. Me and my cousin are bragging about stealing all this shit we just stole. $900 to $1,000 worth of stuff. Remember, 900 to 1,000 in 1982 was, it's maybe 10, 15 grand right now. It was ridiculous. So we're on that. It was several $1,000s easily. So we get on the bus and we're talking, and this guy is sitting there, and my cousin's talking, and I look across the bus, closer than me and you are, and he's like this. Motherfucker, are you serious? So the bus stops, and he goes, someone comes on the bus, and the guy goes, hey, I need you guys to get off the bus. So I was like, I ain't going anywhere. And he goes, well, you guys said you stole shit. I had nothing on me. We had the bag kind of sitting on the side. And the little headphones that were like $9, he's like, all right, we're taking it, you got to go, back to us and whatever. And he's like, what do you got? And I got nothing. I ain't got anything. Dude, we had every chance to get away, every chance to do something. We were just being stupid. So could have ran, whatever. So he opens the bag and he sees all that stuff there. We end up getting arrested. Cerritos is a sheriff town. They take us to the prison. Remember, there's no cell phones, there's no nothing, so you're just calling a house phone, right? So they asked me what my phone number was. And I said, I don't know it. And they said, what's your name? And I was like, Ben. I'm like, what's your last name? I was like, Wang. What's your date of birth? I gave him a wrong date of birth, whatever. But why would I have anything? I'm 9 years old. So mind you, I'm in the fucking jail with like fucking bunch of random ass people, fucking shoplifting, drunk, drugs, you name it, whatever you want. So they're trying to get a hold of my parents forever. Finally, my cousin's like, hey man, fuck this, I can't do this. It's gonna fuck up my college, whatever. He was like a few years older than me. So he gets a hold of his parents. And by the way, now there's like 8-9 hours that pass by. It's like 3 a.m. And now obviously you don't think our parents be looking where the fuck ours. We left at like 8 a.m. We're at the mall by 10:30, 11. We're on a bus, at like 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then all of a sudden we don't come home. We're in jail. So I'm making jokes in jail. I'm actually making people laugh in the holding cell. And a sheriff came in and he grabbed the back of my head and he slammed it against the wall. And I was like, fuck, punk ass bitch. Like I was talking shit. Imagine I was like a little kid and I'm in there with adults. So anyways, they finally get a hold of my sister and brother. My sister and brother are like, my brother's 8 years older than me. He's like, yo, man, dad's gonna fucking kill you. I was like, yeah, I'm not coming home. I refuse to. Because of my age, they let my auntie take us home. And we got booked for whatever it was, but we didn't get like charged. I didn't take a mugshot or nothing. It was like, they just wanted to talk to us, even though it was grand theft larceny. Sears didn't decide to press charges. But I was staying with my cousin for a few days. So I was avoiding my dad and my mom. And I got back and my dad beat the dog shit out of me in the car. I mean, I'm surprised we didn't get in an accident. He was like driving like bang, and just like he was 10 hits in the car. Now, mind you, again, this was a time where you can get from Sherman Oaks to downtown LA in 11 minutes, 9 minutes, any given day. 12 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 2 o'clock, whatever. So you can get to Cerritos in 25. Like, it was a crazy time. You can get to Santa Monica and it's like so easy to get anywhere. So we get home and he took the Hot Wheels racetrack off my thing. He just started whooping my ass. So I just got my ass whooped. It was a fucked up situation. So I was grounded for like the rest of the year.
Okay. And you were a breakdance kid back then.
I was a big breakdance kid.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. That's how I kind of fell in love with hip hop, right around the same time.
Yeah.
Right around 5th grade, actually. I could never do the windmill, though.
I was nasty with the windmill.
I could never do the
only
windmill.
thing I couldn't do was a Thomas Flare.
Oh, yeah, with the both hands on your...
I couldn't do the flares.
Yeah, on your crotch. Yeah. I could never windmill. Yeah. I was so jealous of everyone who could windmill. So you actually started winning contests, and then you saved up your money, went to New York City to actually meet the Rocksteady crew?
Literally, that was 12, so that was 84. A year later, yeah.
That's wild.
Got to meet Rocksteady through a friend. My cousin, well, not my real cousin, but he's like the play cousin who I've known since I was 8 years old. He was big East LA, Boyle Heights. He's a famous artist today. His name's Deffer. Alex, the only other Asian dude. And the funny thing was he grew up, in East LA, bro. So imagine he grew up in a real Mexican hood. I don't want to get too much into that. He'll be like, yo, I don't want to talk about any of my past. But he was deep into it too. So there was a place called the Radiotron. And that was the infamous club that was in Breakin'. This is a real club. Carmelo, who ran it. It was right on Parkview, if you know where MacArthur Park is, where like the fountain is and stuff, you know. And it's like that area is sort of gentrified, but it was nowhere near what it was, you know, in 1982, 83, 4. This is an all ages club. I think 83 was the first year. They filmed Breaking there. I met Ice-T there. I met Krista Glove Taylor. I met Mr. Animation. I met Mr. Air Force One. I met a bunch of the crews. So they had open mic. They had open breakdance stuff and everything there. That got me into a semifinals in Huntington Beach. There was a radio station called K-Rock here. I don't know if it's K-Rock still around.
I think so.
KROQ?
KROQ,
So there was a radio DJ who, he was like the big boy, or Rick D's, or you want to call it. His name was Poor Man. So now, mind you, hip-hop's nowhere on the station now at that time.
Yeah.
K-Day's barely like, you know, an AM radio was different, KDAY. But like, you didn't hear breakdance music or any kind of hip-hop shit. Once in a while, you would hear Freakazoid. You would hear, and it's rare, you would hear it on K-Rock.
Yeah, Twilight 22,
yeah.
Electric Kingdom, stuff
Electric
like
Kingdom,
that. Yeah.
Africa Bambaataa, so that. So
Egyptian Lover. That
they had no Egyptian Lover on K-Rock, but they would play like a couple things sometimes. Freakazoid was a big thing. That was Midnight Star, right? So they had a semifinals in Huntington Beach. I won that. Battled a bunch of Filipinos, some fucking Cerritos and shit, right? And then we were in Santa Anita Mall, breakdancing, and then 9 West was sponsoring a breakdance thing. Now, mind you, all these guys were 18, 17, 19, and I was a little kid. So I ended up breakdancing there, end up meeting people, and then that's how I got hooked up with my boy, Alex, Carmel, all those guys, and they had connections in New York with Africa Bambaataa and Africa Islam and the Nation of Zulu. And I was like, yo, I just want to meet these dudes. Like, dude, I was not a Rocksteady crew. I mean, I wasn't in B Street, it was Rocksteady versus
New York City Breakers?
New York City Breakers.
Yeah.
Even though that's a little fiction, Rocksteady was Rocksteady.
Yeah.
I call myself Crazy Wave, bro, because I was such a fan of Crazy Legs, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that was a big time for me. Especially because, you know, I met Ice-T in 83, so it was dope.
Yeah, I was a Kid Fresh back then.
Kid Fresh.
you had to be there. You got to understand these, you know, how
oh, man, having
significant
the hat
these names were back then.
With the bubble, you know, Old English.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I had the black and white checkerboard hat with the flaps in the back. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, I was wearing the Rising Sun thing, which Koreans should never wear that because Boogaloo Shrimp was.
Right.
And when they did the 30-year anniversary to Radiotron, me and Taboo from Black Eyed Peas, we went to it. It was at MacArthur Park.
Okay.
And the funny thing was, Darlene showed up. Ice-T's ex.
Ice-T's ex, yeah.
Yeah, and when they did the 25, 2018 minus 25 would be 1980. No, maybe it's a 20-year. It might have been the 20-year anniversary of Power. It was probably the 20-year anniversary of Power. They recreated the cover. Remember that kind of cover with she was wearing the thong and like the shotgun?
Everyone loved that cover.
So they redid it, and I took a pic with her. I probably find it on my phone, but you know, we redid that cover. Anyways, Darlene showed up to the 30-year anniversary with Baby Ice, and I don't think Mr. Animation showed up. Some OG showed up. Boogaloo Shrimp showed up. That was dope.
Yeah. I
felt kind of bad, like seeing him. Like, damn, dog, you really a fucking legend. And like, you know, you taught Michael Jackson how to dance. You did this. And like, damn, I wish there was some kind of fun, like, you know, for you, like something. But went there with Taboo, and that was kind of a dope time. Me and Ice-T still talk at least like every other month.
You were a sports guy.
Yeah.
In high school.
Yeah. And
that's actually how you got the name Ben Baller.
Well, I got my name in 92, so I got my name when I was in college.
Okay, right. So you go to UC Berkeley.
Yeah.
Which is where I went to school. Me and you were actually there at the same time.
So we had to, that's why I was asking you what GE classes you might have taken, because we had to, now mind you, again, if you got over 800 on your math, general education, GE, you're bypassing.
Yeah.
If you got over 800 in English, you bypass English. I didn't get 800 on my English.
Well, I took AP classes. So I had AP English.
Oh, so then you're good. Yeah, you're good.
AP History, so I didn't have to take those classes.
That's why I was wondering if you remember any of the English teacher classes, but I don't remember any of them.
Nah. I didn't have to take them. Because, you know, now that I think about it, I had college credit coming into it.
I didn't have that.
Yeah. So you're going to UC Berkeley, and you were actually playing both football and basketball.
They're just football.
Oh, okay.
I tried to walk on the basketball team. I couldn't.
Didn't work.
So I didn't get to work out with them. And then when I transferred, I was able to play. Yeah, for real.
Okay. Steve Nash, you played against him?
Steve Nash, 2 years in a row.
Huh.
There's a very fond story of my coach, Thomas, rest in peace. He just died last year. We're getting, you know, nobody could guard Steve Nash. He's at Santa Clara. I'm at San Francisco State. Play them.
Yeah, because you transferred to San Francisco State.
Yeah, transferred to San Francisco State, redshirted at Cal, transferred, ended up playing Division II, so I get more playing time in football, ended up getting on the basketball team, and when we were driving down to Santa Clara, playing against Santa Clara University, they had this 7-foot-tall, goofy-ass dude who like rode a bicycle to school, and he rode like a regular bicycle, so he's 7 feet tall. Like he was just like, he looked like I forgot what those toys were back in the day. It's not He-Man, but it's like those toys that are like square block head. Like he just looked crazy. Now, a dude that was a rival of mine in high school, he was from Hamilton High School. I think his name was Derry or something. He played at Santa Clara. So, anytime an Asian dude was playing, that was a weird thing. Now, this is the crazy story. We were in the NCAC, Northern California Athletic, Conference, Division II. I got to do some weird shit. There was a guy named Conan Chi, and there was another Asian guy that played for Cal State Hayward. Conan Chi played for UC Davis. And he's kind of like, was running the J-Leagues. J-Leagues was the Asian leagues of basketball in the Bay Area. It was actually in San Mateo in that area. So like, seeing these dudes, it was like, it wasn't really, you didn't really see these guys very much, right? And Jeremy Lin kind of came out of that same area. So back to the story. Our starting point guard, Ronaldo, he couldn't guard Steve Nash. And the backup guard, Marcus Smart, was it Marcus Smart for his last name? He couldn't guard him. His coach is like, yo, man, why don't I put Yang in there and see what he could do? And I was locking dude up, man. So it was pretty cool. Shut him down for I think I got him down to like 4 points for the rest of the game.
Okay. So here you are in the Bay at this point.
Yeah.
And you were in San Francisco State. You got your degree in cinematography.
Yeah. Fine arts.
Yep. You became Tia Carrera's personal assistant?
Yeah. Right out of college, yeah.
She was super bad back then, I remember.
She was, but they always say, right, don't meet your heroes or don't meet somebody, whatever.
Okay.
Now, she was shooting Wayne's World 2.
All right, she was a love interest in that movie.
And her husband owned the world famous Roxbury nightclub, Ely Samaha. So I was doing shit that was the worst shit ever. Go to my house in the hills. Okay, what do I do? I need you to get my left green contact. I'm going to drive and leave Paramount right now and go all the way to get a contact because, yes, I need to get a contact lens. It was shit that was that petty. Sit around all day. Can you give me all lemon Skittles? Okay, you want me to wash my hands, open this up and separate? Like shit like that. It was like, And I worked on the Joy Luck Club in the Bay when I was doing internships and stuff, doing PA work. So I did a bunch of PA work and I said, this shit just ain't for me, man. But the silver lining was I met Ely Samaha. And I started promoting nights at Roxbury where I would give people, cards and stuff like, hey, come on Thursday nights. It's Buzz Entertainment, whatever. And this DJ, and I can't remember his name. I wish my fucking memory wasn't so bad. He ended up actually working for me later at Priority Records. He was the main DJ there. On Tuesday nights, there was a guy named Rob something. I think it was ABC Tuesdays at the Roxbury. They end up being a famous rock hip-hop band called the Cottonmouth Kings. Do you remember that group?
Of course.
Yeah. So Brad X and these other guys, whatever. Thursday nights was this in-house promotion called Buzz Entertainment. I ended up being a promoter. I want to say this guy's name's Trevor or something, but he's a DJ, and he was dope. One night, this guy allegedly smoking crack and just did not show up. This is the fucking Roxbury, bro. This ain't some fucking, this is a fucking legendary club with Sylvester Stallone, Mike Tyson, and, huge stars, Prince. So Ely's like, how far do you live? I'm like, I'm 6 minutes away. He goes, go get your records. I was like, it's on. I'm in there, dude. I see like Tiffany Amber Thiessen. Funny thing was I saw Bobby Hurley. He'd already gone into the league now, Like I just see a bunch of random people. Keenan Ivory Wayans, Charlie Murphy. I was like, yo, I'm just lit. So I started DJing. That was my launch into DJing.
Okay. So now you're a DJ.
Yeah.
And at one point, you meet Denzel Washington.
Dude, I was DJing there for a little bit. I was doing small little gigs through Hollywood. And this wasn't a hip hop place. So most of the music I was playing was like, do you remember Robin S? Show Me Love?
Yeah.
You got to show me love. Think about that era. CC Peniston, whatever, or like, that era was like kind of introducing the house dance music.
Right.
there was, this was a big time when like Cheryl Lynn and disco was big in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? So you're playing a lot of To Be Real, all that stuff. And so it was like, all right, well, do I want to do some hip hop shit or do I want to be around some celebrities? I wanted the best of both, and it wasn't working out that way. So meanwhile, I was a DJ at Ballistics, which is one of the most legendary hip hop nightclubs in LA. Shout out to my best friend, Nick Adler, Dave Faustino from Married with Children, and Dan Eisenstein.
Yeah.
So, and you know, Dave was super close with Dre and all Eazy-E and all them. And
he was trying to be a rapper at one point.
He was.
Yeah.
Him and Corky Nemec, if you remember Corky Nemec.
Yeah, of course, from Parker Lewis, Can't Lose.
Can't Lose.
Yeah, this is all coming back to me.
So Parker Lewis and all them were going to the club. Brian Austin Green, everyone. This place was the most lit shit, but that was all hip hop. Now, the crazy part about it was that club birthed a lot of people. That club birthed Exhibit. That club birthed Will 1X. Well, sorry, Will 1X then, he's Will I Am now. That club birthed Alchemist. That club birthed Mike Karen, who's the head of Atlantic.
Of course.
That club birthed so many people. Later on in life, Paul Stewart ended up being the vice president and the head of West Coast Def Jam. He had Montel Jordan. He had South Central Cartel. He had Warren G, which went 5 times platinum. He had a bunch of artists. Paul Stewart was the first DJ there.
Yeah,
with the guy who taught me how to DJ.
Delicious Vinyl also. That's Paul Stewart.
He was a Delicious a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But my boy Orlando and obviously Mike and Rick Ross ran Delicious.
Yeah.
But shout out to Orlando again. Delicious Vinyl Pizza. So anyways, yeah. So I'm DJing there and I find out that my boy from Ballistics, his dad is investing into a Jamaican restaurant called Creek Alley. Creeque Alley. Denzel's an investor there. Jack Nicholas is an investor there. I see Denzel. He is leaving Georgia, which is a block away. It's like right there. Spike Lee's 40 Acres and a Mule store is right there on Melrose. You probably don't remember this, but this is 94, 95.
Yeah,
so,
before my time.
Yeah. So there's a store there. And I see a 911 Porsche. And I was like, I just got a feeling it's Denzel's car. So I waited. I had a cassette tape. This is a funny story. I don't think I've ever told this part of it. So, you know, if you have a cassette tape, has 90 minutes, right? Or you get a CA60 or CA90, whatever, right? Metal tape, you know what that was, right? Metal, then there was chrome, there was
better
this.
quality, right.
Metal was the best quality, right? So I had a metal tape, save them. My mix was 58 minutes or something, right? I already set it up to start with side A. He listens to side B, which basically would have like 8 minutes on there. It wouldn't have, do you know what I mean? Or it'd have like 7 minutes. It wouldn't have the entire side that started. So I'm like, I think I might have finished it with Other Fish, which is one of my favorite songs on Far Side. Bizarre Ride of the Far Side might have been track 13. And that was one of my favorite groups. To this day, it's still one of my top hip hop albums ever. That Far Side album was insane.
Oh yeah, I love the first album.
Shout out to LAJ and all the Far Side fam. And so yeah, like a week later, Tish gives me a call, assistant running the restaurant. She's like, yo, you got the job. First night there, he's like, yo, no motherfucking thug music, no this, no that. So I'm playing like a lot of Earth, Wind and Fire. I'm playing like Grover Washington. I'm playing Roy Ayers. I'm playing Stevie Wonder. I'm playing a little bit of like, I'm not playing Ace of Base or shit like that, but I'm playing cool music, you know? And like once in a while at the end, I would be able to throw a little like East Coast, like I could throw a little Tribe in there and shit like that. That was more conscious. It wasn't like, fuck your bitch last night, you know, whatever. I couldn't play Pac and shit like that.
Right, no NWA.
But eventually, we got there. And I think some of the most legendary parties of my entire life were at that place.
Well, you met Dr. Dre there.
I met Dre there. I met Pac there. I met Queen Latifah there. I met Kenny Smith there. Jason Kidd came by to see one night there when the Lakers were playing against the Mavericks. I met a lot of people there, dude.
Okay, so you meet Dre, and Dre helps you get a job at Priority?
Helped me get a job working with him at Death Row at first.
Okay.
Him and Sam Snead would come in every single week. Sam Snead at the time didn't even put out You Better Recognize yet. It was like just barely about to come out. And that's why when I watched the Straight Outta Compton movie, the timeline's off a little bit.
Yeah.
And I know because I was there.
Right.
So that kind of throws me off a little bit, but it is a movie. It is what it is. By the way, shout out to F. Gary Gray. Just seen you last week playing golf. So yeah, you know, Dre helps me. By the way, I had a pager. I didn't have a phone.
Right.
So I had a pager number. I'm with my boy Field, Robert Field. He used to work with Paul Stewart hand in hand together. They ran the management for everything from Coolio to Warren G, all that stuff. I said, hey, pull over. And he goes, I got a cell phone, bro. I got a Def Jam cell phone. I was like, oh, let me call it. It's an 818 number. And I'm like, hello. And the guy goes, hey, this is Can-Am Studios. How can I help you? Immediately, my boy Field goes, that's Dre. And he goes, it's Can-Am, bro. It's Death Row. And I was like, oh, shit. He's like, hey, bro, bring a crate of records. Just bring me the breaks that you think you like and whatever else you fucked my head up the other night. Let me see some shit. So I go in there. I'll never forget, like, pulling into Reseda, pulling into this place, seeing 62s, chrome wheels, all these dope-ass cars. The whole Dog Pound was there. Nate was there. Everyone was there. It was just dope. And there's 3 studios on the main one. So me, Sam, Sneed, and Dre, and they're going through breakbeats and just going through stuff. We started talking, and then we built, just started being cool. And then, quiet as kept, I could feel like he was starting to think about leaving soon. And so he said, look, my situation here ain't really like all the way right, but I can introduce you to somebody. And then that's when he plugged me with Brian Turner.
Okay, and that's who runs Priority.
Yes, the owner.
So now you get a job at Priority.
Yeah.
And then you become the VP of A&R?
I was manager, which is 2 levels below director, maybe like 3, 4 levels above mailroom. Within 2 years from being a manager A&R, I ended up being, senior executive vice president of A&R there.
Okay. And when you were over there, that's when Jay-Z came over.
Jay-Z was there. We had Master P. We had a group called the Bums from the Bay Area. We had a group called Another Level. We had Raz Kaz. We had Ice Cube. We had a lot of goddamn groups, bro.
Yeah, that's when Ice Cube went solo.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jay-Z was there and he was trying to release Reasonable Doubt through Priority?
Yeah, distribution.
Right. And
it was a P&D deal, if you know what that means.
Yeah. Pressing and distribution.
Yeah, press and distribute.
Right. When you heard Reasonable Doubt, you thought the album was amazing, but you weren't sure that Jay-Z was a star back then.
I didn't think the album was amazing. I thought it was really good.
Okay.
And man, I hate that this is going to be, I know this is going to be taken out of context. I didn't think he was going to be that big of a deal.
I mean, it's hard to see people early on because, I mean, I've been following Jay-Z since like Hawaiian Sophie and the Originators. Yeah. And it was like, okay, this
so
kid
I didn't know about the Hawaiian Sophie stuff, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't even paying attention to that.
Originators, I bought that album.
Right.
You know, I interviewed Jazz not too long ago, and it was like...
But I was a big fan of like Jazz, even Big L and all
Jazz
them, right?
was the bigger rapper than Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Jay-Z was the younger guy. And...
But mind you, the guys who come in the office, denim jeans, Jordans on, and like, I remember the first time going to the mall with Jay-Z, like, he's wearing a JT the Bigger Figure t-shirt because that was what we had at the label.
Wow.
And that's like dope.
Oh, that's crazy.
He's literally a true story. He's wearing a JT the Bigger, and he had a fucking stack of hundreds like this. Me and Dame connected immediately. Me and Biggs are like this. To this day, like, me and Biggs are still, that's my family. That's my boy. That's my bro. Like,
Well, didn't you say that Biggs was kind of doubting that Jay-Z was a star back then?
He said it on the interview, and we did it together. We did a conference together, and he said, yo, man, he goes, I didn't think he was going to be as big as he was, and he was.
Yeah. By the way, did you hear the new song by Eminem that just dropped today? Toby?
No, I didn't hear it.
There's a line in there that they're saying is Eminem taking a shot at Jay-Z. It's, he goes, ain't feeling your top 5 favorite rappers, so I know they're about to be pissed at me. But this to me is a mystery. How rappers I've already ripped could be higher up on the list than me. Because, there's Renegade.
Yeah.
And most people say that Eminem got Jay on Renegade.
I think so.
So it kind of sounds like a shot at Jay. The whole Kendrick and Drake thing is kind of, inspiring people, get a little more bold.
I hope it is a shot at him.
Imagine that, an Eminem Jay-Z battle going back and forth.
Fucking amazing.
Epic.
I hope it would.
I hope it happens.
I hope it does too.
I hope it happens.
Yeah.
You actually knew Tupac back then.
Yeah.
And you met him through Jada Pinkett.
I DJ Jada Pinkett's birthday party.
Okay. She
was dating a very good friend of mine, Tony Smith, T Smooth at the time. And T Smooth was a first round draft pick. He national champion at Notre Dame playing football. He was super close with Puff, with Eric Sermon, We were close with all of them. He connected me with Missy Elliott before she was signed and had any kind of deal at all. She was barely just getting out of that sister group deal. I think she had with Teddy Riley and them. And she was, this is before she was even working on One in a Million album. So yeah, I had my hands full at Priority, and crazy story. Didn't even realize how it came all together. T Smooth had an R&B group I signed called The Truth. THA Truth. This album was fucking amazing. We had every amazing artist on it. We had every amazing feature, hip hop, R&B, singers. Faith Evans was vocal coaching. Faith Evans is singing on it. I got Missy Elliott writing songs, Missy Elliott rapping, singing, everything. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ. She's like, we're so ahead of our time. It didn't, you know? And so we got clearances. Like, this is the crazy part. This was a fucking shady ass shit was back then. I had to get a clearance from Russell Simmons for Redman, an artist clearance to be on that. You know, I don't know how it works now, but you can, let's say for instance, Lil Uzi jumped on someone's song.
Yeah, the label has to sign off on it.
Yeah.
Of course.
So they still have to do it now?
Yeah.
Okay. We have Redman, all these other people. Redman was hot item there at Def Jam.
Yeah.
They were just not doing it. So I hit up Russell directly. I was on Malibu, walking on the beach in Carbon Beach. We're in front of David Geffen's house at the party. I asked my boy Josh Richmond to help me out. Ends up getting me a release. Thank God. Got the release from Puff for Faith Evans. Off drop. So we're hanging out with Faith. Pac is in town. We're in a limo. We see all this crazy shit going on. My boy hooks me up with we had like a little celebration dinner. We're all out and about and all this other stuff. Not that much long later, my boy Brad Johnson, who was also a partner at that, this all ties in. It's crazy how cohesive this is. Creek Alley, he was a part owner of that Creek Alley restaurant. He's also one of Denzel Washington's very closest friends. He also owned the infamous Georgia restaurant that Denzel was walking out of when I met him. Brad Johnson was a producer on American, what was Pac's last movie before he died? He died during the filming of it.
Gridlocked?
No, after Gridlocked. The fuck's the movie called, man?
Bullet?
No, man, come on. Jim Belushi.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Jesus Christ, I cannot believe I'm this old right now.
Gang related.
So gang related, okay? Yeah. So I tell Brad about the idea. Me and Pac sit down at Georgia. I was on a date with this girl I'll never forget. And I was excited because I was finally gonna get to bang this chick. I was like, man, I'm so fucking excited. Pac walks in. All my excitement for fucking that shit went out the window. And I'm like, dude, I have a fucking Faith Evans record on my R&B group. Let's go to my car. I'll play it right now. He was like, shit, you ain't said nothing. Leave my date. Pac's in a suit. I have no idea why he's in a suit. We go over to valet, get into my BMW. I start playing the shit. I'm like, yo, I'm sorry. I think I had my Lexus at the time. I said, hey, listen to this. Playing the song. It was a dope song. And I was like, it's the remix. And he goes, okay, so how you gonna get clearance? I was like, Puff already signed off on it. The song is done. And I was like, I need you on the remix. He's like, all right, I'm with it. Let's talk about this.
And he was already beefing with Biggie at this point?
Oh, big time. This fucking shit was going nuts so at that time.
This is after prison. He's on death row now.
Yeah. So he's on death row and everything. So, you know, I'm supposed to meet him. Okay, this is the crazy part. I'm supposed to meet him the day he dies. He dies on a Friday. He got shot 7 days before that on a Friday. The actual day he dies, the day we're supposed to go and meet and then do everything. They're shooting in Santa Monica for gang related. I just connected with someone a month and a half ago, Gobi. You ever heard Gobi, the name Gobi?
No.
That's one of Pac's closest friends. He was always there. He directed two of America's Most Wanted. He directed so many of Pac's videos. He has like 100,000 unreleased pictures. I can call Gobi right now. You should have Gobi on your show. This guy's never been able to talk about it because Tom Wally and the Tupac estate had kind of went against him. He's been blackballed from everything. And he's had a crazy ass past 30 years or 25 years. He went and did fucking what's the toad? What's the hallucinogen that all billionaires do? Ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca, yeah.
He did ayahuasca a few times, changed his life. He's in a good place now. I don't know, but he's trying to get his shit going now. He owns the IP to a lot of Pac stuff. So he comes over, we start talking about a bunch of shit. He gave me more game about what was going on. Anyways, I had a meeting with them. I was gonna go out there and fly with I had an artist I just signed besides my group named Gonzo. He was in Cube's group, Caution.
I did Gonzo's last interview before he died.
Damn.
Rest in peace.
He died in Seattle too, man.
Yeah,
damn.
exactly.
So Gonzo was a solo artist on my label, at Priority, and him and Pac were real close. So I was like, yo, let's go fly to Vegas.
Did he talk about how Tupac would be smoking weed in first class on flights and wilding out?
Yeah.
So on a commercial plane.
On a commercial plane,
he
was smoking
pull
weed.
out some weed.
Yes, and smoke weed. And not give a fuck. It's a different time back then, you know what I'm saying?
You're still not allowed to smoke. This wasn't that long ago. It's like it's the 50s.
Now, I remember when there was a smoking section on the plane. This is, we were 7, 8 years old. So remember, this is 1979, 1980.
Yeah, exactly.
And you were able to, but I remember when they stopped smoking in restaurants in LA, that was like 94, where you had to smoke outside.
Right.
And you couldn't smoke inside a restaurant anymore. And it's crazy to think that you were able to smoke fucking just puff cigarettes in a restaurant or a smoking section, whatever.
Right.
So going back, after Pac had died, that following morning, I went to Tattoo Mania, which a world famous tattoo artist named Mark Mahoney, who owns Shamrock Social Club now in Sunset. He was there doing a tattoo, and I see Gaddafi, Napoleon, and most of the outlaws are there. And Kadada, who's a dear friend of mine forever too. Kadada Jones was there getting the All Eyes on Me, the Tupac on her arm, which I think she finally got it removed.
Yeah, I mean, she was dating Pac. She was with him in Vegas in the hotel room.
The whole time and everything.
The whole time, yeah.
My boy Gobi was with Pac in the hospital every day.
Wow.
The whole last 7 days of his life, he's in there.
Yeah.
Nobody else was there. Like, it was weird. He'll tell you the story. I don't want to ruin it for him. His recollection of the last 7 days of Pac's life was amazing.
How do you feel about Keffe D right now? Because, my interview kind of told the whole story.
I don't know. I don't really know what to say. Like, I don't even know what to call that. Like, do you call it whistleblowing? Do you call it, like, what do you, like, I don't even know what to say. Like, it's just such a weird thing. Like, and the crazy part about it is, I think I've watched so much of your stuff, not knowing it's your stuff, because I'm paying attention to the content and not what platform it's on. And, oh my God. I don't know, man. That's a really tough place to I don't know. I haven't been prepared for any question. We just came in here freestyle.
Right.
To hit me with that was like one where I just feel like I don't know if I could even answer that. I just feel like that was a fuck. I know your job is just to get a story out there, so I'm not saying that, but like all the shit that he said, I don't know if I could believe everything, like not saying he's either lying too, but it's just a lot to, some stuff I knew that you've heard, and some of the stuff just like, Jesus Christ. But by the way, did he finally get locked up or what happened?
No, he's locked up right now.
Okay.
Yeah, and Whack 100 was going to post his bail, but then it was like a $750,000 bail, and Whack was going to, basically came up
with... The bond was $750 or the bail was $750? The
bond was $750. Well, I mean, the whole bail was $750, and Whack was going to come up with $75,000.
Right.
And at the actual bail hearing, I guess Whack said that it was a gift, and then they played this VladTV interview that I just did with Whack, where he talked about essentially bailing him out and doing like a documentary on him, which they played in court. So they basically shut down the whole bail hearing over that.
Why? Why do they care where the money came from?
That's what I said. I had no idea. I mean, Whack volunteered that information. It's not like I even knew he was going to do that before the interview. But I guess because Whack said it was a gift and, something to do with
you can have somebody on the fucking, you can have a
I know, that's what I said. As long as it's legal money, as long as it's not like drug money or anything, it should be totally legal, which is what I thought. But essentially, he's not freed yet. I don't know whether it's ongoing or whatever. Whack's supposed to be on here in a couple of days, so we'll talk about it then. But yeah, that's basically what happened. Whack was going to put up the money, but they wouldn't let him do it because of this interview, and it is what it is at this point.
I think in my entire life of living, right, 50 plus years, 51 years, I've managed to maneuver without having any real beef with anybody. And that was kind of like a good thing. There's been some misunderstandings and there's been drama. I got caught up in the Cypress Hill Ice Cube beef when that was really big and streets were like, you know, like it was like motherfuckers were pulled out of cars and.
Right, because Ice Cube was on Priority and.
Yeah. Cypress Hill was on Buzztone through Epic.
Rough House.
Yeah, Rough House through Epic.
Yeah.
And there was a rumor because I was friends with Carmen Electra and I was DJ for her way back. She has her album deal with Warner Brothers. And somehow, some way, it got back that I was gonna try to fucking shoot Be Real.
What?
And me and Be Real, and they were waiting outside a concert for me.
That's crazy.
It's a true story. We talked about it on Be Real's show.
Yeah, that's my man.
And there was a misunderstanding, but me and Be Real, like, we couldn't be better. Like, I'm down with Soul Assassins and all that, so I never had no beef. So like, I've always been caught in these weird ass beefs. So like the situation with Keffe, I never met dude prior. I remember seeing him vaguely, you know, whatever. But like, me and Wack are good. But that interview that he did like 3 or 4, right?
He did a few interviews, yeah. But my interview was his first real sit down where he explained the whole thing from beginning to end, which was all based off his book, mind you. He had
I didn't know he had a book. Sorry,
he had released a book detailing all the stuff that we talked about.
And he didn't think once that he was going to go to jail?
Well, he had a proffer agreement. So proffer agreements are a little bit fuzzy in terms of depending on whether it's the state or the feds, you shouldn't be charged with it. But then again, sometimes it's like it only applies to the day that you actually say it. And if you repeat it, then you can't be charged with it. Or if you say something and they're able to get someone else to corroborate your story, they could charge you with it. It's very fuzzy. And it's gonna play out in court.
It's weird. I was with Pac a few weeks before he had passed. I was with Biggie inside 7 days of him dying. I was with Nipsey Hussle 5 days before he died. So it's just like a weird thing.
People call you the Forest Gump of hip hop.
Yeah, Forest Gump of hip hop. So like, I think it's weird when they were investigating the murder up to a year or 2 years later. I forgot what the dude's name is, but I do remember watching one of the documentaries on Hulu or whatever it was, Amazon or something. The guy was behind it. He was an LA Times reporter. He was really like for real journalist, really doing deals. He was asking me questions and everything. And there's not much I really knew. You know, like.
Yeah.
I think Keffe said more than anybody knew.
Well, Keffe was in the car, allegedly. Now, he's saying he wasn't even there. That's going to be his defense. And that's really between him and, Las Vegas PD at this point.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, if you ask me, I wasn't prepared to even think about that interview, but I forgot that it was on this, and it was just fucking crazy.
Well, yeah. I mean, for the longest time, I've always said that I solved the Tupac murder, which I really didn't. But, Las Vegas PD is the only one that could really solve it. But the story I laid out with Keffe D essentially laid out the whole story and all the pieces fit together. But I've always said the Biggie murder was sort of a mystery to me because it could go too many different directions. But if you watch the last few months of interviews, like Wack 100 said that Poochie, this guy named Poochie, who was a Mob Piru Blood, was the one that killed Biggie. And I'd heard this over and over again. Mob James said, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Greg Kading had been saying that. And now when I interviewed Vanilla Ice, he actually co-signed the same name. Because Vanilla Ice was in the mix with Suge Knight, remember? I
remember he was in the mix, but I didn't think he'd be that deep into it.
He wasn't that deep into it, but you got to understand where he was in the music industry. I mean, this guy was selling Diamond and, he knew a lot of people.
I mean, dog, I remember the night that Biggie died, it was a Quincy Jones party at the Peterson Museum.
Right.
So I was in the studio with Fred Joe Starr and Sticky Fingers from Onyx.
Right.
Doing a song for the American Pimp soundtrack that was a Hughes Brothers film.
Mm-hmm.
Found out, we got in the car and smashed over there and wanted to see what was going on. And I just thought about the whole situation. And then I remember everyone's at Cedar Sinai, it's right across from the Belly Center. And you see the Brat, you see a bunch of people there, and you're just like, whoa, this is fucking crazy. Now, when you think about that intersection of Fairfax and Wilshire, you're talking about an iconic intersection besides anything like this is like, where like, like it's just crazy. Like, I know every possible escape route you can go to. Do you know what I mean? Make a right. All right, what's the next street? Orange. Okay, cool. We're going to go, straight? They didn't go straight. They made a right. So how far down Wilshire did they go? They could have went down Wilshire, made a right on Orange, took that to Olympic, maybe cut through, went through San Vicente, then cut through Mid-City. Who knows where the fuck they went, right? Bottom line is, there was LAPD that was doing security for all these people, so I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. According to Whack, it was this guy Poochie, who's now dead. He was Suge's affiliate in some sort of way, but he was saying this had to do with East Coast politics. Eric Von Zip is somehow thrown into this story as well. According to Keffe, Eric Von Zip was the one who gave him the gun to kill Tupac. And then there was the whole story about $1 million payment that, allegedly came from Diddy.
You're not worried about any of this?
This is all out there, man. This is all out there. And then Eric Von Zip is dead. And the story was that Eric Von Zip took the money from Diddy and then bought a nightclub with it instead of handing it over. And right around that time, TK Kirkland was super close. And he said, yes, he did buy a nightclub right around that time.
So at this point, like, if this dude is dead and he is responsible for it, it's like...
There's a lot of dead people
what
that are
an
responsible.
Underwhelming ending to, like, you know what I mean? It's like...
Yes, no one... Kefe's the only living person in the mix at this point. And, whether or not you want to say Diddy or not, but I don't think Diddy will ever get charged because there's too much time has passed and it's hearsay and whatever else. But yeah, it's a big mess and most of the people are dead. Dr. Dre ends up leaving Death Row and he forms Aftermath, but originally it was called Black Market Records.
Yeah.
Right? And he asked you to join?
Yeah.
So now you're at Aftermath.
Yeah.
Now, you were there when Dre was making Heat for 50 Cent and everything else like that?
Yeah, that was later on, though. I mean, we had some struggles. We were going through some struggles big time early on.
Right.
Like, we had an album called The Aftermath Presents, and we had,
Yeah, that was probably the least performing Dre project ever. Been There, Done That was on that.
Yeah, but I think Straight Outta Compton might be even less than that.
Well, you think Straight Outta Compton sold less?
The soundtrack, remember? The one for the movie?
Oh, the soundtrack.
Yeah, it just came out. Was that?
Well, that was the Compton. It was called Compton.
Whatever it was.
Yeah. Yeah, that wasn't great either.
Yeah.
Right. But...
We went platinum, by the way.
Yeah, but platinum
But it was
for
definitely
Dre,
very underwhelming compared to like
that was when Dre was like,
yeah,
I'm not doing gangster music anymore. Yeah. I've turned a new leaf. And
well, look, the cool thing was, Been There, Done That was a video that no one ever seen in hip hop. And then to like change and immediately do the tango, the tango dance with the girl.
Yeah, Michael Jai White, his wife, was the dancer in that. Yeah.
So, it was a crazy time then. We were figuring things out. Stu Fingers, Krista Glove Taylor, Butta. Who else is in there? Pesci, Engineer. Stan the Guitar Man, Kamara, Keys, Mel Man. Mel wasn't signed yet. We had got Mel signed on right before the Firm album. We had like 7 or 8 groups. King T.
Oh, yeah, he was at Aftermath. Yeah. Forgot about that.
A&R King T's album, Thy Kingdom Come.
Right, which never came out.
I think he ended up putting out just independently. It was really depressing. It was a phenomenal. Hit Boy thinks that was one of his, it was an amazing album.
Well, Dre starts working on 2001.
Yeah.
And Hitman was like one of the main artists on that.
He's the only person that had a solo song on the entire album.
Right.
Yeah.
It was Hitman and Eminem was on there as well.
Yeah, but Eminem didn't have a solo song.
Right. He was on songs with Dre.
Yeah. Hitman wrote damn near like 75 or 80% of that album.
Right. And he signed what you considered was the worst deal in music history. Man. I've been trying to interview Hitman for years. I can't even get a hold of him.
I can get a hold of him for you.
Yeah?
He follows me on Twitter still, and we talk a little bit here and there. I was his DJing. Yeah.
All right.
We got to get Hitman in here. I think it's time for him to tell his story. I think it's time.
Yeah, because me and Sam Snead have talked about doing interviews, but I can't even get a hold of Hitman.
Yeah.
Let's do Hitman.
Let's get Hitman in here. I want to talk about Big Yacht Publishing. Do you know who Taz Arnold is?
Yes, actually I do.
So Taz Arnold went to high school with him at Fairfax. He had a brand called Tisa. Him and Kanye were together a lot. They did a lot of business together, and he's very stylish. He's crazy. He was, back in the day, he was a big vintage polo collector. Anyways, a lot of people would look at him and be like, wait, you from South Central? Nah, dawg, you ain't from LA like that, whatever, because he dressed different. He was very flamboyant in his style. He had a company called Big Yacht Publishing, and Hitman was signed to him.
Right. Wasn't there a story, I kept hearing about this, was that Hitman, I mean, he was signed through him, but he was supposed to sign to Dre as an artist on Aftermath, but the deal didn't come together for whatever reason, because after 2001, you just didn't hear Hitman anymore.
And we had an entire fucking, track 7 on Get Rich or Die Trying, it's like where the entire beat, it just sounds like a fucking gunshot. Even the snare's like, boom.
Heat.
Boom. Yeah, Heat.
Heat, yeah.
That was Hitman's song first.
I believe it.
We had that song first. We had an amazing album. Like, when I think of Last Days, me and Hitman dropped the mixtape, The Murder Weapon.
Okay.
It was amazing. It was a great mixtape.
Well, yeah, you said that if he had signed even a decent deal, he would have made like 15 million.
I mean, he would have made a good amount of money for sure. He'd at least made 8 figures because, man, imagine just the publishing alone off 2001 and everything else. Like, he would have been all right.
Yeah, Scott Storch became a multimillionaire after that album and so forth. And I guess he ended up having to go back to work a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah. Last time I talked to him a few years ago, he was working at Guitar Center.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right, and you said something. You said, I don't mean to put anything bad against Dre or anything. It was a business. But, like, I was like, yo, man, how you letting these dudes, like, not eat? Like, it's not like you still can't get rich, but they can still eat. It's not right. And you said the whole thing kind of left a bad taste in your mouth. Dr. Dre knew I was going to come with that, right? So I started being loud, and I've always been a loud person. Then he fired me. So he let me go, and that was it. I couldn't even get a hold of him. And it was like my studio card was revoked the whole 9.
Yeah.
So you and Dre got into an argument over Hitman?
We got into an argument over something he says that it had nothing even, I had an argument with Sugar Free's, I guess at the time, manager.
Okay.
I don't even know how that even was relevant to anything, but I think at that point, Dre fired somebody over getting the wrong pillows. And I was like, Jesus Christ. And there's this guy, Larry, who ran everything, and I think still to this day, he's with Dre and runs everything. And I think there was deeper shit. And you know what? The thing is this. I saw him after being let go, and I take the positive out of it instead of the negative. I could have been like, oh my God, I'm the victim or this and fucking this. I've been able to say his name a million times or whatever and been able to get in doors and do certain things. I was able to turn it into a positive. So like how my life's all right. I mean, right? You don't think like, and I don't even show anything off. I just feel like, I think people kind of, I would think that a person with somewhat some common sense in their head would know that I live a pretty decent life. And I've lived a very, very blessed life. And so, I think he said some of the most encouraging things to me. He said some of the most hurtful things to me. But it all motivated me because, like, we were in the studio one time and, damn, I hate saying shit like this because I know it's gonna go like it's to get out there. But I think Mel was like, hey, Dre, you wanna make $100,000 real quick? I forgot it was like 2000, 2001. Remember the 2000 album already, the Chronic 2000, the Dr. Dre 2001 already dropped.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, what's going on? We're at Record One, Studio B, and the mailman's like, yo, bro, do you wanna make it or not? And he's like, who is it? And he goes, Pharoah Monch. And Dre's like, nah, I'm good. After taxes, that's 50. Nah, I'm cool. I'm straight. We were in there making a beat. And we were going over a bunch of things. And Mel's nickname's Emmy. And, back then, if you wanted to flex in the studio, you had a custom MPC 3000.
I remember I saw it. I was in the studio with Mailman at one point.
Yeah. So he had the blue blue MPC.
Yeah, it was all chromed out and everything, yeah.
And he had Mailman 9 number because Major Harris, who was a legendary quarterback at West Virginia, is from Pittsburgh, the Hill Projects, where Mel's from. So we're going over this beat, and I was thinking to myself, like, damn, 30 minutes ago, this beat never existed in the world. And now it did. And I see Dre dissect stuff, and people say, oh, Dre don't make any beats. And he does. He actually does. Sorry, get the fuck out of here, he does. And then I'm sitting over there, and I'm going over something, and we're on the thing. We're on the studio, we're on the board. And he looks over at me, and he goes, hey, Ben, all this time, you have access to me, and you never thought about making records. And at that point, every bit of my entire body, my soul, everything went to jelly and went out of my shoes and just was done. I was like, yo, I think I'm done with music. Because I dreamed of being a producer, like actually making music, doing everything, and I messed around a little bit, but I just love being a DJ. But I didn't look at it like, I should have looked at it in a Pete Rock sense or in a Premier sense and thought about it, because I had friends who came up after me and they were okay. They had placement on albums and did some records. But, you know, I've known Alchemist since Alchemist was like 13, 14 years old. I'm like, you know, he's still rocking today. And I just felt like I did have that ear. But then the whole trajectory of my life would have changed. But at that point, he discouraged me so much with that thing that I was like, man, fuck this.
Yeah, I mean, but to be fair, I spent years producing, you know, all through college and then even after my college career. And, you know, I had MPC 60s and, you know, ASR 10s and the whole nine. And one day I just woke up and said, I will never be Dr. Dre. I'll never be DJ Premier. If I stay at it, I might get a placement or two here and there, but...
No, man, I really think I would have got something going, because I had so many connections, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but it's not about connections, it's about some people just have an ear.
I had an ear, I had... Yeah, I had...
Like a Dr. Dre ear, like that's special.
I had a nasty ear, bro.
Because I remember when I switched over to DJing, that's when things started, you know, I won mixtape of the year for the Tupac rap phenomenon. It's, you know, that's when things started to take off. And I'm like, okay, this is really what I should be doing.
But at the same time, it would have consumed so much more in my life. And I think at that point, I was over it.
Making beats is all consuming.
Yeah.
And unless you take a brand new artist and blow them up, you're just hoping to get a placement here and there.
And I did management for a little while. I did all kinds of stuff. I was trying to figure out, and I just said, fuck all this.
It's a rough business. So I don't look back on my time as a regret.
I'm just saying, had Dre said something in like 96, I might not be here doing this interview talking about jewelry we even got there yet, but I'm saying, you know what I mean? Like,
okay, so you leave Aftermath. Well, you were asked to leave Aftermath. And you actually started selling weed at one point, around 98?
I was selling weed even during the time I was at Aftermath.
Okay. And back then it was completely illegal.
Yeah.
And you were moving like 500 pounds a week?
Yeah. And the funny thing was, my old assistant, Marlene, at Priority Records, when I was head of A&R, she saw me out at a party, one of Shaquille O'Neal's parties. And she knew I was at Aftermath, and there's certain things where like, okay, look, a VP A&R back then probably make, depending on how many hits you had, because you had points. Remember, like, if you had a record and you had a hit and you had a point on it, you could easily have a couple $100,000, right? But the average big A&R back then at a hip-hop label, not at like Sony or at like Atlantic or Warner Brothers, at a hip-hop label, you know, I would say it was probably anywhere between 120 to 200,000, okay? But when you pulling up in like all Versace and shit like that, Marlene was my assistant. She knew exactly what I was getting paid and everything, right? So I pull up to a party, and she knew I was at Aftermath, see some old people, friends of mine, and she pulled me aside. She goes, yo, and she's from the hood. She went to high school with Keyshawn Johnson, you know, all them. She went to Dorsey High, famous LA high school. And she looked at me, and I was buying bottles of champagne, and she was like, and Jermaine Dupri's there and all that, whatever. So my table's up next to these guys, and she's like, hey, you slanging dope now? And I was like, wow. She was my assistant. She answered my phone. She made my drink. She made my. I know when she's joking, when she's serious. There was no undertone of jokes at all whatsoever. She was dead ass serious. And I was like, wow. So yeah, I was selling weed back then.
Okay. Did you ever get caught?
No.
Okay. Thank God.
Yeah, thank God.
Things could have went very different.
They could have went very different because it was a different time then.
So then in 2004, you started an exotic car rental service.
Yeah.
And you own the cars?
Yeah.
So how many cars do you have by then?
At that time, I had 2 when I started.
So what'd you have?
I had a Ferrari and I had a Phantom.
Okay, these are big boy cars.
Yeah.
This was from the weed money?
This was from, I had some money, and then she'll remain nameless. A guy signed a deal with the Clippers, and I think that he thought he was going to be on the team for 3, 5, 10, 20 years. He ended up getting cut. So he couldn't afford this $450,000 car. And the dealerships were trying to hose him. And so I took in and told him I'd give him cash. So I took that clean.
Okay.
The other car I bought with my money I made from my sneaker auction, my eBay auction.
You sold your entire sneaker collection on eBay for $2.9 million?
Just under $3 million, yeah.
Like in pieces or all together?
It was 2 auctions.
Oh, so each piece was going to different people?
No, it was 2 auctions, meaning groups, gigantic
you
rooms.
grouped them together?
Yeah, 1,800 pairs. 1,800 pairs.
1,800 pairs of sneakers.
It filled this entire room.
Yeah, shout out to my man Mayor.
Mayor's my dog, yeah. Mayor got up to 2,000 pairs for a while, man. He was crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. I've done a few shoots at his house.
Yeah.
Okay, and you bought a Ferrari with
immediately
some of the money.
when the check cleared, yeah.
Okay. And you said around this time, you knew how to make money, but you weren't good with money. And Dre even told you, and I love this quote.
Yeah.
You said, it's a lot easier to make $1 million than to actually keep it.
He said, making $1 million is easy. He said, keeping it is the hard part.
Correct. Okay. So you were blowing money on what?
Stupid shit.
Yeah?
Strippers, going out, clubs, just dumb things, going to Vegas, girls. A lot of money went on girls. A lot of money went on just dumb things.
Okay. And was it around this time you joined a motorcycle gang?
Yeah, that was like around 2002.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also around this time, your cousin took over your uncle's jewelry business.
He had took over it just a little before that.
Yeah.
And he was trying to recruit me right my last year aftermath, like, hey, why don't we do something with these guys? I tried to talk to Dre about it. I was like, yeah, you want to get this? And they had a jeweler in-house already they were dealing with.
Uh-huh.
And I think Dre was too big to talk to my cousin in the Slauson swap meet. So he was like, nah, man.
Oh, that's where the jewelry store was?
Yeah.
The Slauson swap meet?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, there was a lot going on then, man, And funny, to bring the whole full circle back, my bike gang, Cocky, we were LA like hooligans, right? We were known. We were like, 150 deep at one point. We were a big group. You go anywhere, South Central, Compton, Watts, Crenshaw, whatever, you would see these C's on the back of and 2 T's was a member of our group.
2 T's was down with
TDE, yeah.
I know him real well, actually.
Yeah, so 2 T's was
He lives in the house I used to rent. Right. Small world.
It is small world.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's just a crazy time, man.
Now you join your cousin's jewelry business.
That was in 2005 I joined the business, yeah.
Right. Are you an owner, a part owner at this point?
I'm a part owner, yeah.
Okay. How much do you know about the jewelry business at all?
0%.
Zero.
Yeah.
So you've never sold jewelry, made jewelry, probably owned a few pieces here and there, but that's the extent.
I had a Rolex that Dre gave me. I had a chain that his dad gave me, my mom gave me. Like, I'm talking about like a fucking, at that time, maybe like a $300, $400 chain, nothing crazy.
Right.
I had a Rolex. I had a small chain that Dre gave me, and that was about it.
Okay. So now you're in the jewelry business.
Mm-hmm.
And you start taking night classes to actually learn about it?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I'm just me and my cousin are just going through things right then and there.
So who's actually making the jewelry?
At that time, this guy, Mr. No.
Okay.
Who ended up fucking us and like robbed a bunch of people in downtown LA, and he's like in Korea somewhere. I hope I run into his ass, man. But yeah.
All right. And are you bringing your hip hop contacts to the store and so forth?
Right then and there, at that time, the timing was kind of good for me, but not really good but Jacob the jeweler got arrested for embezzlement with
the BMF.
Yeah. So at that point, there was a door that was wide open. I had hit up Nas, I hit up Game, I hit up Clips, and I hit up a few other people. My boy was dating Mariah Carey at the time. He was also producing The Emancipation of Mimi, which was one of her biggest albums. Mm-hmm. And so all of them kind of, in a trickle effect, all kind of started coming. So a lot of Jacob's clients were were at reach at that point. So the first one was the Clips. And Jeezy, which was like kind of an unofficial member of the Clips, he had got a piece. And then I had made Malice.
Not Young Jeezy.
No, Geezy.
Yeah,
he's an OG real member of the Clips. Like, he's part of it.
Got it.
Think like, and that's when I developed a relationship with Malice and Push and them, and I made a Clips piece. And then we were gonna do a re-up gang because they had a mixtape called Re-Up Gang at the time.
Yeah.
And then right after that, Travis Barker had got a couple things from me. And then right after that, Fat Joe was like the big stepping stone. Like Fat Joe, kind of like we did a I-95 Coca Baby piece that he did in the Make It Rain video.
Yeah, I remember that.
Post that. So that opened the door. That led to Nas. I did the end chain for Nas. That led to Game, doing the double Game chains. That led to Mariah Carey, and then it just started snowballing. And then around late 07, early 08, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to LACC. I'm going to take a couple classes on wax carving, CNC, there's other things. And then my uncle was showing me how to diamond set and things like that. And that's why I was like, look, I can't rely on anybody else. Let me figure this out. I'm a very technical guy, whether it be DJing, anything. I'm a creative person. I could design, I can create, I could do things. And that's when I learned what we were doing wrong and how we can take over the game.
Now, you had some drama along the way. You said you had to put someone in the trunk over not paying?
I'm sorry, I had to what?
Put someone in the trunk? You want to pull up the clip?
Yeah, pull up the clip.
Can you pay the bill? That's what I want to know. But what's been a situation where, had to, what did you have to go to, like, collect?
We had to put someone in the trunk, dog.
Oh,
okay,
hold on. Okay, so there's a situation where you had to put someone in a trunk for not paying. Your words.
Yeah, there was a lot more to that than this dude owed a lot of money. He had set us up. Like, this was like the worst person you could think of. Like, hey, Vlad, you want to get a watch from me? Yeah, I got this sick watch. All right, cool. So I'll buy it from you. Okay. Meet me here at CVS on the corner of Sepulveda and Ventura. Okay, cool. I'll meet you there at 3:42 p.m. Okay, cool. Just so happens you get there at 3:42 and there's 3 guys waiting for you to rob you. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, whatever, and boom, be like, oh, by the way, hey, man, I still want the watch. I'm like, bro, I just got robbed. What are you talking about? Like, come on, stop playing with me. That was that kind of shit. So it was just more street justice on his end. I wasn't necessarily involved, but like, yeah.
Okay. And then you had a situation where someone tried to rob you. They grabbed a $100,000 cross.
Yeah.
And you hit him in the head with a fire extinguisher?
No, okay, the way our store was in the Slauson, thank God, my cousin went to go have a cigarette break. So he walks around the booth. There's a side door at Slauson that actually faces Slauson. That's changed completely now. So remember, Slauson, there's no parking on Slauson. There's 2 lanes and 2 lanes. You can pull over for a second if there's nobody behind you, but this is Slauson. We're at Slauson and Dinker. So, we're in an infamous area.
Mm-hmm.
There was an entrance there. Our store happened to be literally from my door to, this is where the store, to that door.
Mm-hmm.
This dude came in there, hopped over the counter. When he hopped, it was such a smooth hop that he just hopped over. Then, as he hops over, smashes the glass display, grabs the cross. My cousin is having a cigarette break. He sees this. Dude's trying to jump back over to go to the car, right? I didn't see it because I was behind the thing. He sees the thing. So now my cousin pushes him back into the booth. He's trying to jump out. He can't push it back in. Next thing you know, you see 4 Korean dudes stomping him out, fire extinguisher, broomsticks, welding fucking fire, everything you could think of, dude, yeah. And then the cops came, and there's security guards. Security in Slauson carry guns.
Yeah.
They handcuffed this dude, and I would say the counters, about this side, whatever. They didn't even walk him out. They had pull him on top of the counter. I'm sorry, the fucking counter didn't break, in the glass counter. And then they let him fall, and he had handcuffs on. And I was like, God damn. And the getaway car took off.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. That was the only time, that was one of 2 times ever that we've even been attended, because we were always loved in the hood, so.
Yeah. Well, I remember I looked at your Instagram recently.
Yeah.
And you said, recently I'm celebrating 20 years of being a millionaire.
Yeah.
So that's when you became a millionaire, that year?
In 2004 was when I became a millionaire off the sneakers, yeah.
Exactly. Oh, okay, off the sneakers.
Yeah.
But the jewelry business is still coming along.
That was a year later.
Got it. Okay, so you're running this, this jewelry business.
Yeah.
But you're starting to get into drugs as well, into lean.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's technically a pharmaceutical, but yeah, I was drinking lean. It was really popular at the time.
Right, you actually overdosed in 2008.
Yeah, on New Year's Eve.
You drank 2.5 pints.
Yeah, in like literally a matter of like 6 hours. Yeah.
You're lucky to be alive.
Yeah, I am. I was really lucky.
Yeah, I mean,
I went into I had a seizure.
Yeah, listen, I hung out with Pimp C a couple weeks before he died. It's a hell of a drug.
Yeah.
We lost a lot of people through that.
Am I crazy? He passed away in the Mondrian, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said you were as bad as Lil Wayne was.
I think I was as bad as you could possibly be.
Yeah. How did you actually stop? Was it the overdose?
It was a little bit after that overdose.
Yeah.
And prices started going up, and I just felt like, yo, I'm really chasing after something that's just absolutely this is crazy. Like if I had to make more than one phone call, I felt like at that point, I became a fiend. And I'm like, I can't do this anymore.
Listen, I just interviewed Boosie. He said, he had a count in his head. He said he spent about $2 million in lean. He said he had an entire refrigerator just completely filled from top to bottom of it. He was a complete addict when it came to that. And he's not the only one. Like, G Herbo told me similar stories. And
Aiden Ross just said he was he was going through it. That's new. Do you know what a ball act goes for right now?
No.
25, 30,000 for a pint.
Yeah, listen, I tried it once, hanging out with Riff Raff. I fell asleep, and I said, nah, I'm good. That was the end of my lean story.
Well, was it act? Was it Alfarma?
I have no idea. I was just hanging out with him.
Did it taste good? Just tell me that.
I think so.
Okay, if it tasted good, then it was the right shit. It was just
right. But I've always avoided opioids just because, the horror stories I hear about them. If I get an operation and they give me like Xans or whatever, I'll just throw them away and I'll just tough it out. So, at one point, you actually made a piece for Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I made a few pieces for Michael Jackson.
Pieces.
Yeah.
So he would reach out himself, or when his people would reach out?
His manager had reached out to me.
Okay.
And then it took a little bit of like going back and forth with him. There was a lot of three-way like dealing with this, and then finally get to meet him. And at the same time, at that point, still like I don't even get direct conversation with him. Closer than we three are right here.
Mm-hmm.
He would talk to him. What's his name? David. Imagine being like, David, can you tell him that David can hear me perfectly fine. David, can you tell him that I don't like the way that this red looks and he needs to find a different ruby for this and it's just not going to work? I'm like, okay. This is like a 30, 45-minute meeting, so imagine that whole time. I'm like, well, what do you think? And at a certain point, I don't think he wanted to look at me. So he's just telling Tomei, like, hey, can you tell him this? And it's like, this guy's like this fucking like kind of mafia type of dude. He's like telling me, I was like, Jesus Christ. I remember having a conversation with dude on his couch. And then imagine having a conversation, like you're in the middle of a conversation, like, oh yeah, man, so that's cool. So school's pretty good. That's cool. That's everything. Yeah, it's cool. So yeah, we should talk about, maybe the upcoming thing, your schedule, your tour, this. Yeah. And like, I'm thinking we're going to get into a conversation. He gets up.
Walks away.
So, 10 minutes, I'm like, it's the king of pop, bro. So I'll wait 10 minutes, 15 minutes. But damn, 25, 30 minutes. I'm like, wow. 40 minutes. And I'm like, dude, man, all right, this is fucking ridiculous. So I get up. I'm lost in his house, 12, 13,000 square foot house.
Neverland?
Beverly Hills.
Oh, okay.
Right in between like UCLA and like the house he passed away in. So I run into his chef. He's like, oh shit, what are you doing? I was like, hey, I'm Ben, I'm a jeweler. I was like, have you seen MJ? And he's like, nah, MJ's here. And I was like, oh my God. So they check and find out that He had left like 35 minutes ago, like 5 minutes after, he just left.
How many pieces did you actually sell to him?
3.
And how much were they? Were they like obscenely expensive pieces?
No, but for what they were. So like, you know what a brooch is?
Yeah.
I mean, not many people are getting a $50,000 brooch. You're talking about, you see some people like, let's say Uzi or Tyler, the Creator, will wear like a small little pin. Imagine wearing a pin that's like, fucking ridiculous, big diamonds in it and shit like that. And then he got a belt buckle.
Okay.
It was a good amount of money. He was looking for a diamond that I had no access to. I wasn't big enough to figure that out, but I didn't tell him that.
Huh. Okay.
He had sent me a paper and I was like, okay, you want a 40 karat blue diamond. I know
a 40 karat blue diamond?
Yeah, it was ridiculous money.
What is that, like 20 million?
At least.
Yeah.
Maybe 30, 40 million.
30, 40 million.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
He could afford it though.
He could.
Yeah. I remember right around this time, you actually interviewed the barber who knocked out Suge Knight.
Yeah.
And I remember this was really a very turning moment because Suge seemed completely untouchable.
He was.
Up to that moment.
Yeah.
He had been bullying people. A lot of people were dying around him. And then this barber knocked him out.
Yeah.
And you went to the barber shop and actually interviewed him.
Well, it wasn't I went to the barber shop. Greg helped out for my store.
Huh, okay.
Plus, on top of that, Greg was a member of our bike community. So he was kind of like part of the bike gang. He was connected to me like 2-3 different ways. So this is the funny part. I think for 4 years, I might have told Greg, I was, man, bro, shut the fuck up, bro. You're so lame. Never seen a guy fight in my entire life. He had big hands. He's the nicest fucking, he's a nice guy. He was always nice. He would come to the Slauson. 4-second walk, there's a little snack shop that serves an egg sandwich in the morning. He would come there and get a sandwich. Fucking, well, you just go like a cafe or something. Why you go to Slauson to get a thing? Come say hi to us. He'd come out. He was good friends with a mutual friend of ours that was an employee of ours. He was at our shop all the time, so we hung out and kicked it. And then all of a sudden, one night, I get a text message. Suge got knocked out. And I was like, I was like, who, but Mike Tyson? You know what I'm saying? Like who the fuck could have got Suge? It's impossible.
Yeah.
Like, this is unheard of. The chances of being a friend of mine, like, it was the most insane shit in the entire world because I was scared to death of Suge. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, what the fuck? So that thing happening was insane, especially to my friends that were there the night it happened because there was a backstory of what happened. You know what I mean? And like, Craig had got beat up by people. Then he got security and then Jugga came out and tried to get him. And then, obviously he had put him out and I was like, whoa. And then it went out. And then a bunch of people were trying to get a hold of him. TMZ, this and that. And I was like, dude, I know this guy. So I'll connect you with them. So I connected him with, what was dude's name? Jack, the interview you're just playing right now. That serious interview.
Jack Thriller.
What?
Jack Thriller.
Yeah, Jack Thriller.
Yeah.
There's another guy from that camp, that 50 Cent camp. I can't remember what it was. It wasn't Who Kid or whatever, but there's somebody else that was big. And then they flew Greg out to New York to do an interview. And then
This Is 50, yeah.
And then he connected with someone else. And then they asked me and him to be in this DJ Quick video. I forgot what it was called, but I was in it. I have pictures somewhere, I forgot. And then Greg started getting appearances to do a couple things here and then. And, whatever. He's just chilling. I think my cousin seen him not that long ago.
Yeah. And up to that point, the whole world was scared of Suge. I mean, in fact, when VladTV was at SRC, which is the Universal building,
yeah,
the president of Universal at that time, I forgot what his name was, would have armed security waiting in front of the building because Suge had threatened him. And there was a picture in the security office of Suge that said, do not let in the building. And he would sit there in front of the building, the security, armed security,
yeah,
the entire time, walk the guy in, wait the whole day, and then as he would come out, take him to his car, and then he would go home. So Suge was a terror.
Oh, dude, he was the folklore that was around his name was crazy.
But after he got knocked out, then I think everyone realized he was just a man, like everyone else. And
it definitely was a different...
Shit happens to anyone.
A shift happened for sure.
Yeah, a shift definitely happened. Okay. And not too long after that, you and Drake hooked up?
Yeah, like right around that time. Yeah. I had met Drake off MySpace. I met him at the Beverly Center. He was with Jazz Prince, and they were getting a MacBook Pro. And the crazy story is, he just looked like a familiar kid. I didn't realize we were friends on MySpace, and he knew me. because like he knew, like, I guess he, you know, we're friends on MySpace, he's seen my cars, whatever. And he knew me, and he was trying to get a MacBook. And the crazy part about this whole story was my jewelry store is now connected to that. It was the Apple store. Huh. My jewelry store in the Beverly Center is connected to that store. So it was like a full circle moment. Like later when they did the 10-year anniversary of So Far Gone and everything. I met Drake there. We started talking, and we just became fast friends, man. It was cool. Like, you know, like there was a rapper in Canada that was signed to, can't believe my fucking memory's so bad.
You talking about
CP Records, sorry. He was signed to Belly's label.
Okay.
Belly had a record label called CP Records, and his name was Die Young, white boy. I think this dude told a lot of crazy stories that no one could ever verify, but he ended up dying actually, which is weird. But this guy owed me, he had money, so I'd be like, yo, Drake, can you go pick up this bread for me? It's like, you know, 10 bands. And Drake be like, yeah, I got you, bro. Don't even trip. I'm gonna come to LA, you know, whatever. So like, he's, I wanna go see my barber, you know, J-Mac, boom. Me and 40 gonna come over. I was like, all right, cool. And he's like, yo, son, it's mad brick out here. Yo, it's mad brick. It's like, you know, like 10 degrees, snowing and everything. So Drake picks up the money from that dude, gets on a plane, flying economy. I meet him at LAX, I pick him up. He's on tour with Young Money. We become friends. He's telling me he's working on a mixtape. I'm there with 40, providing weed, getting them cars. You know, they need a ride somewhere. They want to go to get, you know, he wants to take a chick out on a date to Mastro's. I'm like, all right, cool, here, boom. And I just started coming around the studio all the time. The studio was inside the hotel room at the Beverly Wilshire Hotel, you know. And I was like almost like a honorary A&R, you know, like a A&R coordinator in a way on that So Far Gone album. So I was there and I was promoting the fuck out of him. Like I was telling everyone I knew about Drake.
Right, and you were selling some jewelry pieces to him early on. I remember he had the Frank,
I let him rock a little bit. The funny thing is, I have pictures of Drake inside my store in Slauson.
Okay.
I took him to Slauson. Then we're dropping the mixtape, and like, you know, he's on, you know, we had the famous video, driving down Burton Way, Beverly Hills. Like, yo, we can find it on Nah Right blog, find it on OVO, October Very Own Blogspot. You can find it on Ben Baller's blog, whatever, boom. And the whole crazy thing is, when he did the 10-year anniversary of So Far Gone, he mentioned everybody that was involved in the project. And I have the caption still saved somewhere. And I'm sure if you went and spent hours and dug through the posts, you would see. He's like, 10 years ago this, 10 years ago this, 10 years ago 40, you were doing this. 10 years ago, Oliver, you were working at a retail store. 10 years ago here, you were working here, this. And they says, 10 years ago at Ben Baller, you were promoting my career like you had a piece of it. Huh. And I was, you know. What you got on your wrist, man?
You know what it is, man. That Frank me well. Time will tell. You know?
I mean, knowing Drake back then, did you have any idea how big he was going to be?
I thought he was going to be huge.
So you already knew?
Off top, yeah. I was like, bro, he's black and white, Jewish. Like, bro, he's got every fucking...
checks off every box.
Every box.
He sings, he raps. Yeah.
It was over.
Okay. Was it right around this time that you and Kanye were working together? And I remember you talked about the polycarbonate Jesus pieces that you were making
the
for
plastic
him.
Ones, yeah.
And you were saying how that was the biggest bag you ever fumbled. It could have been $100 million.
I mean, it really could have. So if you do the math, at the time, Jesus pieces were the biggest they've ever been in history. They were enormous. Now, mind you, nobody had these Jesus pieces. Our cost on these things were $75, which is a lot of money for fucking plastic.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, if we found a better factory somewhere in China, but at the time, there was copper on the back of it to make it heavy, the way it looked and everything else. We had the injection molds, had everything ready to go. There was an office on Fairfax. My friend Matt George was the president of Pastel at the time.
Right. Pastel was the clothing company that Kanye was trying to launch.
Yes, and he wanted to do jewelry, and I was head of the jewelry department.
Yeah.
Matt George is a wealthy entrepreneur that owned the store that Drake and a lot of his friends worked at in Toronto. So they're all tied in with each other in a way. Matt ended up being a huge person for Weekend, for all these guys. Toronto crew is really tight-knit. So I'm like, dude, we're going to fucking destroy this. Now, mind you, this was a time when you could have sold these for $1,000. Okay. Now, mind you as well, we could have sold 50,000 per color, right? There's 4 colors. Okay. So it's 200,000 times $1,000. Do the math.
Yeah. A lot of money.
And then think at 99% profit margin.
Right, because it's just plastic.
Yeah, so think about what.
Yeah.
And the line of clothes were amazing.
Right, but Pastel, I think he was trying to fund it himself. This was before he had
he was trying to get LRG, trying to get LRG to do it.
Or Adidas.
Then Nigo was going to do it.
Yeah.
And then it just never happened.
Never happened, yeah. Well, I heard he had a whole warehouse full of clothes that he funded himself, and it ultimately just went nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, Ian Connor had grabbed some of the stuff, you know that is. I mean, he had some of the stuff, and I don't know where any of the stuff is anymore. I never asked Matt about it. I'd rather just kind of complain about it and just be like, all right, whatever. What if that shit could have been huge? But yeah, that was really about months or so after me and Drake had connected, and then during the So Far Gone all that time. Yeah, it was around that time.
I remember you talked about in 2012, someone tried to break into your house.
Yeah.
And you had to shoot at him?
Yeah.
Did you actually hit him?
I can't talk about it.
Okay. Luckily you survived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was cool.
I had a home invasion situation once. It's a life-changing situation.
So the funny part about the story is, anytime you see me somewhere, if I post I'm at Nobu in Malibu, it could be anywhere between an hour to 24 hours ago that I was there.
Yeah, I never post.
Yeah, but I knew that back then.
Yeah.
So this person's obviously watching my page. So I had posted I was at the Ritz-Carlton in Laguna Niguel, Laguna Beach, like Dana Point.
So they assumed your house was empty.
Yeah, and they'd been there for however long because it's, disconnected the Wi-Fi. So imagine I posted that. I was already like 10 minutes away from my house. So, they're thinking they have an hour at least because that's a good, Dana Point, it's the furthest part of, before you get to Oceanside, right? I go to my house. My gate is still locked. The door is like a 1950-something door, and the lock is completely off. And I'm like, oh, shit. I just had a baby. Tell my wife, I was like, hey, stay in the car. She's like, what's going on? I was like, just stay in the car. Go in the car. I grabbed my gun. And I was like, yo, is anybody here? Go walk around. Felt violated. I go to my son's nursery, and the safe was completely exploded. They exploded? Exploded. They fucking exploded the safe in my son's nursery. Then I'm looking around, and my son had there's a sliding door, all glass door going to the backyard, and it was open. And I hear leaves rustling. And I'm like, all right, yeah, no, there's no way. Person said that someone threw a football over and they're trying to find their football. The rest I can't talk about because there's still like an ongoing thing. So
it's still ongoing from 2012?
12 years ago.
12 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever had to shoot your gun outside of that situation?
In my life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's not fun, man. Yeah, it sucks.
Can you talk about your other situations?
Not really, man. Nah, man. It's nothing I'm ever. I'll say this though. When I stopped carrying my gun every day was when I noticed that my energy changed in life. Whether you have road rage, you have something happen or something, be like, oh my God, well, I feel this, I feel that. I just felt like at that point I had a different energy, and I think I just spiritually went a different way. And it was probably right after my daughter was born. And I just felt like I just don't want this energy. I don't wear jewelry anymore. I don't really care. I'm not pushing crazy whips. My life is completely changed. And I felt that energy was out there like, yeah, motherfucker, come try me.
Yeah.
No. Probably just put positivity out there instead.
And next year, 2013, you made a $3.1 million chain. Was that the hundreds thing?
Yeah.
Now, was that really a $3.1 million chain, or was this just more trolling on the internet?
You know what, man? These guys wanted it to, this is the crazy part. I'm glad I could say it here. For that whole fucking time, these guys wanted it to be the craziest chain. They never addressed it. After that, they end up continuing doing some of the biggest April Fool's pranks, like the biggest ones ever. Like, I'm talking like getting Disney involved, And I'm here to tell you that fucking chain is absolutely fucking cap.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Because if it was really that expensive, you wouldn't be able to lift it off the ground, essentially. It'd be like 200
Even
pounds.
if it was hollow.
Even if it was hollow.
If it was hollow, I couldn't pick it up.
You couldn't pick it up. So that's when I saw the guy wearing it, I'm like,
yeah. It was like T-Pain's big-ass chain.
Yeah, it's that. Yeah. Okay.
I'm glad we got that out the way. I don't have to worry about fucking telling people anymore. That shit was fake, man.
Well, I remember in 2017, you did your first No Jumper interview. And you actually dissed me in that interview.
What did I say?
Well, I think there was an article that we had posted that said that you helped create hip hop culture. And you had like...
I think it was just taken out of context.
Yeah,
I
think
mean,
it was taken... I
mean,
I had a team of writers. I didn't write it myself, but I think sometimes writers kind of embellish things, and you were like basically just VladTV or DJ Vlad at the time. Yeah. Not a big deal, but it was just kind of funny.
I think it was also an easy thing to do. I feel like you were a punching bag for a bunch of random people, and I felt like, hey, why not? And I think that honestly, to tell you the truth, probably like shortly after that, my daughter was born in summer of 2017. I just think that a lot had changed in my life with my energy, and I just feel like, you know what? I always hear one side of the story. Now I'm thinking about both sides of the story, and like I could be in a car, and I hate when a red light turns green in 10 seconds, like we're talking like 5-10 seconds. Like, dude, what are you fucking doing? Like, bro, go. Before, I'm like, fuck this dude. I'm going to spit on his car. I'm going to do whatever. Now it's like, dude, what if that dude lost his dad today? What if that dude lost his job? And I still get youngins who are like, fuck him anyway. I'm like, all right, dog, we're just not on the same, we're not aligned. We're just not. So I think whatever it was.
I saw it for the first time today as I'm going through my notes, and I'm like, who cares? Because I feel like if you're going to be in this business, if you're going to be a public figure on a certain level, whatever it is, you have to have thick skin.
Yeah.
You can't get insulted over what everyone says to you, because literally hundreds of people say negative things about me every day. They could read through comments or social media or whatever else. So if I'm going to get mad at everyone who says something, I just spend my whole time being mad. And what's the point of that?
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
I was in London. I was in Manchester, England. We were so fucking far away from downtown Manchester. Me and Drake. We have a motorcade of 15 cars. There's his head security, a driver, and we're in the back, and we're just talking about people hating and whatever. It was like 4 or 5 years ago. And I was like, well, fucking academics is like sitting there and starting this shit up, bro. You're not mad at him? And Drake's like, nah, bro, he's supposed to do that. You know what I mean? That's his fucking job. Like, fuck it. And I thought at that point, I was like, wow, Drake, damn. The thick skin thing was really, people think he's low. Might be almost, but I'm saying he has thicker skin than people think he does.
Well, what's funny, though? I've told the story once or twice before. 2013, I'm at the Beats by Dre party.
Okay.
Which was like there was the big launch party, and like literally everyone was there.
I remember it. Yeah.
You remember that party?
Yeah.
Eminem, J. Cole, Drake.
Everyone.
Cypress Hill.
NBA.
Like
Chad
literally
Ochocinco was there. Okay.
Everybody. This is the most star-studded event I've ever been to, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sitting outside, and Drake is walking past me, and I'm like, Drake, what up? Vlad from VladTV. He was like, oh, man, stop talking shit about me. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, and I kind of laugh it off, right? Because there's literally hundreds of articles by this point of us praising Drake, right? So I laugh it off. Maybe 6 months later, I'm in New Orleans for the All-Star game, right? And I'm at the Jordan party and everything else like that. We were all at this club. We're all on stage. Drake was there, whatever else. And I see Drake, what's up? Let's take a picture. We took a picture together. I'm like, we should do an interview. He's like, he's kind of sort of cool. Yeah, talk to Oliver. And Oliver, I was like, oh yeah, VladTV. He's like, yeah, we know who you are. And it was a very kind of whatever.
Okay.
And I meet Chubbs.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, what's up? Do you manage Drake? Oh, I manage the DJ. Oh, we should do an interview with the DJ. Okay, cool. Let's exchange numbers, whatever else, right? And the energy's a little weird, but it's not anything. I didn't think it was a big deal.
Right.
Right? I'm there with my security, this Navy SEAL dude, right?
Right.
So as I'm standing at the end of the stage, my security's sort of at the foot of the stage, right below me, Chubbs walks up to me, and he was like, he gets in my face. He was like, yo, man, what's up with all that shit you talk about my man Drake? I said, what are you talking about? Yeah, you talking all this shit about my man Drake. I said, I've never said anything about Drake. I may have had a guest or two that may have said something. Like who? I don't know, Charlamagne? Well, that's your fault too. That's on you. So I look over my security and I kind of, motion my security. Yeah, get your people. And it's like, it's starting to get a little loud.
Okay.
Right? And my security steps in, he gets between us, and he was like, what's the problem? And then that's when Chubbs kind of takes a step back. He realizes, okay, I'm not by myself, whatever else. And I'm like, let's go. Because now some of the Dream Chaser dudes are starting to kind of...
Yeah.
Because they're, you know, Meek Mill's right there also. Like Drake is wearing a Dream Chaser's chain at this point. I'm like, we're leaving. So we're leaving, and my security's like, no, I want to go back and confront him. I'm like, have you lost your fucking mind right now? Like, we walked out of this safely. Like, we're not going to go back and start a whole new thing. But clearly, Drake told Chubbs that his feelings were hurt somehow from this Charlamagne interview and to go confront me about it on some sort of level, which really kind of surprises me even to this day. And Chubbs knows the story.
I don't know, man.
This is what I'm saying. This overly sensitive kind of like...
Yeah, I don't know, man. Everyone has different, I
You know, like, had we had more time, I would have sat down with them and said, look through my website and look through the hundreds of articles that I paid for praising this guy, promoting this guy,
right,
bigging him up. So I have one person who comes in who disses him, and suddenly,
but like I said,
we're gonna have a fist fight over this.
I think there was an energy of like, fuck it, Vlad's an easy target, whatever. And I think at that point, you grow up and you're just like, fuck this is stupid.
Exactly. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
Well, you talked about how Black Chyna tried to charge Rob Kardashian's car for $300,000 to buy jewelry from you.
I can't even talk about that either, Russ. It's like that's still something that I'm like dealing with. Like, I'm literally cannot believe. But bro, funny thing is, the whole situation with her got me into trouble with my kid's private school.
Oh.
Like that's how deep it went.
Sierra Canyon?
No.
All right, because you and Kim Kardashian kind of had a thing at one point. Some sort of beef, or what would you call it?
I had said something very foul about her, and we've been friends for a very long time. And I just felt like, let me just be me and say what I need to say. And she had just did that song with The Dream. And I said, this is the worst fucking song I ever heard in my entire fucking life. I said, this is the worst song ever in the world. And then the part was, I think the part, because we talked and we had a long talk about it. I said, this is the worst the worst song I've heard in my entire life. And I said, you know what? Paris Hilton's album was fucking fire. Now the thing is this, and I'm friends with Paris too. Scott Storch, when he did Paris album, like, I remember listening to Paris album, I was like, holy shit, she redid Rod Stewart, Do You Think I'm Sexy? And I was like, this is fucking good. Like, again, with the right auto and everything, it just sounded good. It was produced right. And that was where it was like, I went over the top. So with that said, Rob hits me up, Kardashian, he's like, bro, my sister's so fucking mad at you and blah, blah, whatever. I remember getting this long ass text message and I was like, Jesus Christ, like, I'm not gonna read all this. It was that long, you know? And then we just had beef, and it was awkward going to the house or going to any parties, birthday parties and stuff. And then her and Chloe tried to confront me on the Chloe and Lamar show. And I was told they weren't coming. I'm convinced that the producers knew that she was coming, and they knew there was drama here. So like, fuck this. We're in a huge 4-bedroom bungalow. We're in a massive $50,000 a night, beautiful suite, 4 bedrooms, and my room's next door to fucking, you know, Kim's, which she wasn't even supposed to be there. So I was excited. I went and went. And then like all of a sudden, you know, I have the same mic thing on, whatever, boom. I hear a butler answer the door, and the butler announces everyone, like, Master Charles, Master this, whatever. He goes, Miss Kim Kardashian. I was like, oh, fuck me, bro. Like, are you serious? Is this real? So I don't go in the room. There's a lot of lights. There's bright lights in the fucking lobby of the not the lobby, but like the main door. So I stay in the entire back area. I'm with a friend of mine, Adam Goldston. Adam Goldston owns a company called APL. They're a huge like fitness workout shoe. So finally I hear this dude, producer, goes, hey, Ben, can you come over for a minute? I was like, yeah, what's up? And as I'm walking into the area where the lights are, all of a sudden, cameras and everything, and I'm like, ah, fuck, here we go. So I go in the bedroom, and Kim's sitting on the bench. She goes, well, I just didn't know we were going to invite backstabbers to my brother's birthday party. You knew I was going to be here. Like, you weren't supposed to be here. Like, and she's like, it's my brother's party. And I was like, all right, whatever. So I'm getting yelled at from her and Chloe for like fucking 5 minutes. 5 actual minutes for like, I was like, and I'm just holding everything in as best as I could. And they're just like, just talking shit. I think just letting everything they could get out. Finally, we go party. It was a crazy night, had a good ass time. I met Floyd Mayweather through Rob and through Kim, had a whole great thing. When it came to your David Smart, he gave me the release before we even did the thing. I didn't sign the release. I never signed it, so I couldn't drop the episode of her fucking yelling at me. So, it lingered on for a little while, and then one night at a Justin Bieber concert, Bieber didn't want anybody backstage. Nobody. If you were not dancing, you were not production, no guests, no celebrities. The only person that was back there was me, my wife, Kim, Emily Ratajkowski, Kanye, and Kendall and Kylie, and that was it. And I felt like at this point, I'd seen her at so many Kanye concerts. I remember one time I was grabbing some Hennessy at the risers in the VIP area, and then like there was this igloo here. I grabbed Hennessy, and there's a riser here, and then these feet, and I was like, wow, those are some fucking beautiful feet. Like, I appreciate a good pedicure. Like this was like, we're out in public. I know we're at a concert, but this was just like the shoes were clean, the heels are perfect, the toes were just perfect. And I'm sitting here doing my jeweler diamond eyes, looking at this thing, grabbing a Hennessy. And then as I scroll up, it's Kim. And Kim's like this. As I go up, making eye contact, Kim's like this. And I was like, oh shit. I turned my head. I was like, fuck this. I almost dropped the Hennessy. I was like, fuck this, man, I don't want this. So that would happen a lot. Not a lot, but maybe once or twice a year. And I was like, fuck this. See at the Bieber concert. We're in a small little area where there's nobody else allowed. And it's loud. I'm like, Kim, look, I just want to tell you something. And she's like, yeah, what's up? She was being super nice, I guess, because people were around. I was like, Kim, listen, I'm being serious. Look, I'm a father. You're a mother. I was wrong. I'm a fucking idiot. I'm an asshole. I'm sorry. Look, I like you. We've always been cool. I regret saying what I said, and I truly mean it. This is not my wife telling you. Like, I really do mean that. As a parent, it was wrong for me to put it out there. It was terrible. I deleted it. I don't know what else you want me to do. I just don't want to have any problem with you. But I'm not saying this because, I'm not going to be invited somewhere or anything else. I'm saying this because I genuinely feel like I was wrong for doing that, and I'm sorry. Ever since then, we've been Gucci.
To be fair, though, Kim is not a singer or a rapper.
Yeah.
It
didn't matter. It shouldn't have came from me, is what she was saying, and she's right.
All right. But, if I saw rapping and you said it's awful, I'd be like, all right.
Yeah.
It probably was. It's not like she had songs after that and she got better.
Yeah, no,
she never did it again. I mean, take your L and run with it. Hey.
She's done favors for me and certain shit for like our podcast. I was like, you know what, dude, I'm just going to I just don't want to. It wasn't worth it, man.
Well, I remember you did the Lamborghini chain for Yams Day.
Yeah.
And then ASAP Ferg, when he did the song Plain Jane.
Yeah.
Ferg is the name. Ben Baller did the chain.
Yeah.
How did it feel to have your name in a hit song in the chorus?
At that point, I had been mentioned probably in 35 pretty big rapper songs, right?
What are the other songs?
Shit, I don't know, man. Drake, Pusha T, like a bunch of people have mentioned my name. Fucking.
But in the chorus like that?
Not in the chorus. I'm just saying my name's actually in songs. Like, Wale, fucking Lil Durk. I never met Lil Durk my entire life. And I was like, but a lot of rappers, even Uzi at the time, a lot of guys have mentioned my name in a song. When he played me the song, because the single didn't come out until like May or June, and that was January. Yams Day is always, January 15th. I was like, with A&R ears, I was like, cool. I've been in the song much times, I'm not really tripping. When people started playing the song and tagging me in Paris, China, New York, wherever, and I was like, okay, it's starting to bubble up. And then like every single month, to this day, bro, this song has been out for 7 years and it's still being played at every nightclub. Still.
Yeah, it was
it's
a big
one of the
song.
very few songs that have been Diamond.
Yeah.
And Diamond is like, I'm sorry, very few hip hop songs that have gone Diamond, rap songs. And like, me and Ferg recently connected again. And it was crazy because I was reinventing myself at that time, jewelry-wise. Like I was doing a different thing. I was doing limited edition. I'm only doing 4 pieces a year starting this point now. Mm-hmm. And that kind of resurrected another point, like where I felt like I was sort of stagnant, but I was starting to come back. I had a plan. Yeah. And at that point, I was like, look, I don't know if there's been a jeweler or how about any person, period, that's been in a song that was that big. Am I crazy? I'm being serious. Like
Jacob the Jeweler has gotten named quite a bit.
He's not in a Diamond song, bro. There's no way. You could be in a bunch of songs, but I just don't think you're going to be in like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking about a song that's, bro, we're talking 7 years straight and it's still being played. I was in Shanghai in a nightclub and, you know what I mean? They're playing fucking like world music, Dua Lipa and like shit like that, J Balvin, and then all of a sudden I hear that, oh my God. People didn't speak English here. This is crazy, you know? So, it's pretty cool.
Well, I remember you made a $40,000 ring for Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Did you actually give it to him?
Yeah.
In person?
No.
Oh, okay.
We had a little bit of a tiff there, so.
What? Didn't you get locked in your Tesla?
I got locked in the car 47 minutes, yeah.
I've owned like 4 Teslas. It's my favorite car ever, really. I've never been locked in a Tesla before, though.
Look, dude, I had a Cybertruck. I had, Plaid. I had X. I've had 5 different Teslas. I never had any problem, but at the same time, like, okay, going back to Kim Kardashian, I said something that happened, whatever. If you sucked at rapping and I said something and what it was, the new techie person in me was like, hey, why don't we just fucking record myself in real time being locked in a car? And I did. And then people have every single answer. There's a fucking emergency button by the speaker here and there. I had my kids' fucking baby seats 3 across, locked in. I couldn't fucking I didn't have the 6-seater. I had the 7-seater. I couldn't get into that area. There was a lot of stuff. It was getting hot. I was in a bad situation. And so he saw that and he canceled the meeting with me.
Oh, you're supposed to have a meeting with him?
Oh yeah, we were going to sit down for like an hour or so. We were going to vlog it. I was going to vlog like getting supercharged in the car to San Francisco. He couldn't do it at SpaceX here because I couldn't get a government clearance. And so me and my friend, who's my daughter's godfather, is Elon fan. Is like the biggest Elon Musk fan ever. And I don't want to get into the whole fucking story, man, but it ended up being drama and it got like someone from Tesla fired over it.
Damn.
It was bad.
Well, you and Dre and you and Kanye have had a relationship for a while.
Okay.
Right? And Kanye did Jesus is King. And him and Dre were supposed to do Jesus is King Part 2. And didn't you make a comment that Kanye came to the studio wearing like his masks and stuff like that, and Dre was like not really feeling it? And
I had heard a story from my boy that was at the studio session and said he came in.
So it wasn't you?
No.
It wasn't you actually saw it?
No.
Okay.
No.
But he told you that story?
He told me a story,
and I think you retold it somewhere.
Yeah. And he said he came in there and he was like, hey bro, like you fucking tripping. Like he's scared, like, the point where I think he was scared. Like, not scared, but you know what I mean? Like, yo, like, how do I say this, man? Imagine if you had potentially $1 billion, 800, regardless, you have more than a couple $100 million. You already know that something ain't right with you. And you come in wearing like, like a Lucho Libre, crazy mask or anything. Like, at a certain point, and you're dead serious, like, bro, how? Like, there was a story where this guy was talking about, everyone's wearing the ski masks that, like, whatever, and, like, it's hot outside.
Yeah.
And, like, someone was trying to bang on the door at the ATM. And this guy's like, yo, bro. And he's a black dude. And then 2 guys are wearing ski masks, like, yo, man, let us in the thing. So why don't you use your ATM? Because the guy's kind of scared. And he's like, shit, I got to pull my gun out. Next thing you know, the guy goes, oh, okay, yeah, I got you. But they're being real sus about it. Like, yo, man, let us in. Those, like, rooms or the ATM where you use your credit card and then get into the room? So the guy pulls his ATM card, puts it in there, and he walks in there. And there's, like, weird energy. They don't really know. Come to find out, it wasn't nothing, but that's just how they're dressed. But it made a gangster dude uncomfortable seeing these 2 dudes in a ski mask. I think it's that same energy.
Yeah, I mean, Kanye's been wearing the masks.
This wasn't a regular. This was a different type of mask.
100-degree weather.
He was tripping.
Yeah. So that was it for the Kanye and Dre collab.
From what I know, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Dre can work with whoever he wants to work with. He does not have to do something for the money at this point in his life. So
yeah,
if he's not feeling it, he's not feeling it. That's the end of that. 2021, you make a $1.6 million chain that you collaborated with KAWS on for Kid Cudi.
Yeah.
And KAWS is really a very epic artist.
It's huge.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Shout out to my man Swizz, who's got like this huge KAWS,
he's got a 19-footer.
Yeah, 19-foot statue in his house.
Yeah.
So, Cudi actually bought this for $1.6 million?
Yeah.
So you and KAWS worked together?
Yeah.
And you did the jewelry and KAWS did the design?
he had a basic design, and then from there, Cuddy had like the color, like he had directed, you know, what colors he wanted, what he wanted to do. And then from the actual being like doing intricacy, me and KAWS went over what it would look like with the wax and the CNC and this and that. And he was very particular about how things were going, because this was going into museums.
Right.
You know, so at that point we had created it, and you know, you gotta remember, a crazy piece can take me 3 to 4 weeks. And when I say crazy, I'm talking like 20,000 diamonds crazy, right? I'm not talking about some basic chain that has a hip hop label on it, you know, or some basic shit or whatever. We're talking about something fucking crazy, micro pave, regular pave, bezel set, you know, prong setting, just so many different things that are going on. Open working backpack, you know, you could put weed in, shit like that. That thing took like fucking 4 months.
Was this the most expensive chain you ever made? Chain. I know there's some other items.
Yeah, rings, no, but chain, yeah, that's
chain,
the most
yes.
expensive, for sure. Yeah, that's up there.
Right, because this is very interesting. This is not just a piece of jewelry, but it's also a piece of art from a world-renowned artist.
That could probably resell for $2.5–3 million from the right person in China or somewhere that huge collectors, yeah.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's a museum piece. It's not just jewelry.
It's on tour right now in museums, yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah. It was just in Toronto, then it was in New York, and I don't know what city it's in now. It might be in Paris.
Well, I remember, I think it was around this time, Travis Scott had these Murakami chains.
Yeah.
And I'm a big Murakami fan. I just sent you a picture of one of my prints.
I collaborate with him much times. We talk. That's my boy.
I'm a big fan.
Right.
Huge fan. And I remember you had criticized that Travis Scott had these Murakami chains that Eliante made, but Murakami wasn't involved.
He wasn't.
In the creation, so you called him bootleg.
Yeah.
And then Eliante kind of responded, and I think he called you a hater or something of that sort.
Whatever, yeah.
But
I got no beef with Eliante, but it just wasn't official because, you know, Takashi didn't put a stamp on it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and Murakami's pieces sell for, I mean, he's probably got $100 million pieces out there.
I mean, I don't know if it's 100, but he has pieces that are ridiculous
20,
money.
30 million,
he's got
those
crazy,
huge pieces.
He humbled me the last trip, my last trip to Tokyo, like he humbled me. Like, low key.
Oh yeah, no, when Murakami...
No, I mean his studio, you gotta remember, this dude never is like, he came from very humble beginnings.
Yeah.
And when I walked into this place, I was like, I don't know if it's Fifth Avenue, I don't know if it's Rodeo Drive, I don't know if it's the most expensive real estate you could think of, and then thinking about the level of what he had in here, and then him recreating the city he grew up in to recreating a small shopping plaza of all the places he was as a kid, and that's his office. Like a fish market, a barbershop, a pizza place, like sushi restaurant, like all this place. And I'm sitting here and they're like, all these years, bro, and you finally bring me here?
Huh.
And we just, we had a great relationship.
You know, Murakami's dope, man. I mean, when Marc Jacobs brought him in to do the Louis Vuitton prints, and then he had a showing at the Palace of Versailles, which had never been done with this type of artist. It was like, he was just on a different level.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he works with Travis on things here and there and whatever, and I just think like, look, dude, we did this official here and there. This is corny for you, whatever, do this. And on top of that, Ye already did this, whatever, and it was just, and me and Travis used to be really cool. Like, I have tweets that he had sent when he was in high school, like, yo, one day I'm gonna be Ben Baller. I'm gonna get a Ben Baller, whatever the fuck it may be. And I don't know where it went wrong, but I think it had something to do with Tyga. And I think maybe from Kylie or whatever, I don't know. And Tyga's the most, dude, Tyga don't cause trouble with nobody.
Yeah.
He really don't. I've known Tyga since he was 15. Like, he don't ever talk shit. He don't hate. He really just does his own thing. He gets hated on all the time. He's the nicest guy. Dude has been like a great person in my life and a great friend. And I think that just created problems. And then one day, me and Travis just got into it on DMs and on text and everything. Just like, I was like, man, whatever, dude. I just let it fucking go.
If I had $1 for every rapper I got into it with over DMs or texts or FaceTime or whatever, I wouldn't have to be doing interviews for a living. You know? Like, just happened the other day with Polo G. So, you know?
Yeah.
Shit happens.
You know, it's funny though, but Murakami just like, dude, I don't want any headaches, man. Keep me out of this little high school shit, man. You know, I'm a grown-ass man. And I was like, you're right. I'm sorry.
Right, because you guys had some Murakami jewelry pieces?
We've done a few collaborations, yeah.
Yeah? And those are all, they all sold out and everything?
Oh, they sold out in 30 minutes. And this ain't like something where like, if you could just access 50 grand immediately, like, you know, and whatever, it probably been quicker, but it was like hard, you know? So we've had a tour pushed back twice now because of, you know, divorce going on, there's other issues, there's scheduling. So, and then the pandemic hit. So eventually, I think we will get this tour back on the road. Be 5 cities. We're gonna do like 20 pieces.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Let me know.
Yeah.
I might cop a piece.
That's the problem. Everyone gets mad at me. Like, you know, one of my buddies bought one. He's like, yo, dude, I can't wait. I was like, if you're gonna sell it, just get back to me, bro. I'll give you the money. He's like, no, I want it. And it's like a price, but he's a dude you would never expect to have money, but he has a lot of crazy watches. He has crazy art. Is this? And this was like, I can ask Ben for this one of 3. And I was like, all right, dude. Lil Yachty cornered me at one of them. He was like, I need this. And I was like, all right. And then I introduced him to Murakami. He's like, yo, this is fucking amazing. So like, you know, everyone who had bought those pieces, they never sold them.
Yeah, I bet.
So it's cool.
Have they ever resold? Ever? Period?
Not that I know of. I haven't seen them, no.
Well,
we did verification cards.
Yeah.
Like you actually slide it in a card reader. It has a number and everything. Like we went through the whole, the packaging, everything was A1.
Dope. Well, like we said before, you made a lot of pieces for Drake. You sold him a lot of things. But you also did pieces for Kendrick Lamar. And when Kendrick Lamar did his pop-up show, and he was wearing, you know, the Tupac kind of outfit in a way.
Yeah.
And he was wearing a chain with a big diamond cross.
Yeah.
You went to Twitter and said, he's wearing my $600,000 chain.
Yeah.
How long ago did Kendrick buy that chain?
When was the pop-up? What day was that?
A couple weeks ago? Like 2 weeks ago?
So probably a week, just about maybe like 7 to 8 days before the pop-up.
So he came to you and he said, I want to get a big, huge diamond cross?
No, he just wanted to get like, he wanted to look and try to get something, like something, you know, a cross, a piece. And at the time, I'd only done like some grills, done some minor stuff, but I've worked with a lot of people from TDE, right? I did like SZA's first chain. I've done stuff for Schoolboy Q. We've done things like that. And so I was like, all right, interesting timing. It's stuff that's already in the store. So I feel like, you know, and again, I didn't realize, I had an idea that the show was going to be huge. I didn't think it was going to be at that level.
Oh yeah, it was like LA history.
Yeah, it is. And so, you know, I made a conscious decision and I said, hey man, I don't need a shout out. I don't need my name mentioned or anything, and let's just handle this. But the overall energy of the night, I felt like I saw a lot of my friends on stage, a lot of my friends there, Crips and Bloods reuniting. I didn't look at it as a diss Drake night, even though it did get played 5 times. So like at that point, yeah. I'm just talking about the other stuff that was going on.
Yeah.
But it was business. I was born and raised in LA. There was an energy out there that it had to be, you know, an LA jeweler. Like it had to be someone that had to be Ben Ball. It had to be Slauson. It had to be, you know, that was, I guess, maybe the energy out there. Like, you know, he wanted LA to be in the house. And look, Nip was my boy. YG's my boy. Mustard's my boy. It's a weird situation you get put in, but it was a business thing. You know, Drake has used 5 other jewelers. I never cared or never got mad about it or anything. It was business.
Yeah.
But at the same time, too, Drake is my guy. I never took a side or anything. I just was like, his business is business. This is my city. Like, for real, this is my city. You know? Now, if I was up on stage with them and fucking, you know, crip walking or dancing or doing some crazy shit, you know, then, you know, it's a different thing. But 1, I don't go out. 2, I stayed out of it. And it was a business thing. It was.
Yeah, are you supposed to?
I made an executive decision. I feel like, look, dude, this is just a business thing. To say nothing wrong.
Yeah, I mean, are you supposed to turn down business from Kendrick because you're friends with Drake?
Yeah, and I've known Kendrick for a long time.
Yeah, I mean,
Kendrick for
like my jeweler is David Bling. That's the guy who I get
David.
most of my stuff from.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like the watch I'm wearing right now.
I know David. I know Will the Boss. I know all of them. Yeah.
What if I'm beefing with someone and he sells them a watch? Now I can't.
That's what I'm saying.
Work with David is dumb. Like, you know what I mean?
David fucking made the not Summer 16. What was it? The Future Drake championship rings. Remember?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't care. It is what it is.
It is what it is. It's business.
Yeah.
You know? It's a hell of a battle, though.
Yeah. And people were like, I thought Drake was your boy. You guys are fucking idiots, man.
The KAWS piece was the most expensive chain he ever made, but the most expensive jewelry piece he ever made was a $10 million ring for a sultan.
Yeah, for a king, yeah.
A king?
Yeah.
Of what country, can you say?
Can't say it.
Because you've never actually shown this. You're not allowed to show it.
I'm not allowed to show it.
What does a $10 million ring look like? How many carats in the main diamond?
So 42 carats, and the shape is unique. I can't even talk about the shape. And the funny thing is, you know, there's SI, okay, look, there's what it goes, okay? I2, I1, SI2, EGL could be a SI3, but there's SI2, SI1, and there's VS2, VS1, VVS2, VVS1, IF, and then F. The crazy thing is, this wasn't even an eternally flawless ring because it might have been absolutely redonkulous numbers. So this wasn't, I mean, it was as perfect as, well, first of all, to the naked eye, it's still great. Remember, the bigger a fucking rock is, the easier to see a small inclusion in it.
Right.
But yeah, you know, it's just things like that that I rely on one of those like every few years, hopefully. That's like, takes care of stuff, you know?
Okay. How much profit was in that $10 million ring? Millions. I can see the wheels turning about what can I say and what can I not say right now. But can you say how many carats the main diamond was?
Yeah, I said 42.
42 carats.
Yeah.
42 carats. That's insane.
Yeah. It's crazy stone. And it wasn't even the highest clarity. That's what I was trying
I
to
would
say
think that 42 carats would actually be more expensive for just the stone.
You got to remember, okay, so different stones have different weights. If you have a round diamond, depending on if it's top heavy or certain things, how the table is on the diamond. If you get like, for instance, like a cushion cut, a 3-carat cushion cut is gonna look like a 2-carat round cut because where the weight is on it. Do you know what I'm saying? So different stones have different things.
Yeah.
So because of what it was, the style of what it was, that's what he likes. Some people want a grasshopper green Rolls Royce, and like some people are like, why would you do that? That's his business, not my business.
Okay. 10 million. Congrats.
Yeah. Before that, it was $2.5 million. That was the biggest. You know what I mean?
What was that?
That was also another ring.
Can you say who that was for?
No.
Not that one either. Okay. Well, you went on live recently, and you were talking about Nego. And you said that at the height, when the BAPE shark hoodies were all the rave.
I can't even talk about this anymore. I just got a fucking cease and desist about this like last week.
Okay. Well, I'm going to say it. You don't have to comment.
Yeah.
You've said that Nego made over $300 million and owned the factories that were making the fakes, as well as the real ones.
So the rumor I had heard was that he was in control of, I heard that he was in control of the replicas as well, but they're being made in the same place.
Crazy.
How the fuck could you tell?
Right, because Lil Wayne and Soulja Boy were wearing fakes.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I put a fake one next to a real one. Remember, I'm a jeweler. I'm looking at stitch and everything. Couldn't tell.
Couldn't tell.
Yeah. Do you know who Ian Carter is? You know who that is, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember he had a shoe brand called Revenge X Storm?
Yeah.
Do you know what happened to that brand?
No.
It was made in China. They started releasing shoes, and a factory was making them. So you couldn't even you couldn't verify them on, so StockX won't even sell them.
Well, yeah, I mean, StockX recently announced that they can no longer completely verify if something is real anymore. And that sends shockwaves to the system.
But that's what's going on, and people think like I'm saying something outlandishly crazy, but it's the Revenge X Storm was a perfect example of that.
If you think about it, I remember someone broke it down to me because I used to have a sneakers website, Sneaker Watch, for years and years. And I remember people were explaining to me how okay, so let's just say you have a Nike plant in China, right? And you have the machines that make the real Nike shoes. Well, every few years, new technology comes out, so they have to get rid of the machines. So they sell the machines
It's not even that. It goes deeper than that.
Goes deeper than that.
So say Louis Vuitton or Nike or whatever.
Yeah.
Let's say from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., you're pumping out sneakers, okay? Then you got the factory manager. And you got a dude saying, hey, man, here's $100,000. You don't make this in a year.
Yeah.
All right. Turn the machines on. We're going to run those machines from 7 p.m. until 3 a.m. now.
Yeah.
And pump out shit. Now, a couple things might be missing here and there, but for the gist of it, most of them are being made. So like, some of the shit's being made at the same spot. It's like crazy.
With the same machines.
Yes.
It's the same factories.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's wild, because I remember back in the day, I'm not going to say who the rapper is, but a rapper friend of mine gave me, some Jordans. And I remember they were orange on the inside.
Yeah.
And it turned my White Sox orange. Right? So, okay, these are clearly bootlegs. But in 2024, even experts can't tell the difference between the real and the fake anymore.
Now, the thing there too is that it's so long for them to inspect it now. At that point, who cares?
Yeah.
Now, me personally, I'm just not going to deal with this shit, I'm going to get the shoe directly from Nike or directly from the person that's dealing with whatever. But it's crazy.
No, it's a crazy world.
The easiest way to the giveaway for the longest time, even until recently, is when you put your foot inside the shoe. The comfort of it.
Okay.
Now they got that part down. So,
according to the internet, you have $100 million net worth. It's actually interesting how, I look up my net worth on the internet sometimes and I'm like, it's not too far off. How do they know this shit? Is 100 million close?
No.
No?
No.
So it's actually more?
No.
Still a flattering number, though.
I'm sorry?
Still a very flattering number.
I don't know where... Me and Nick Diamond had this conversation one day. We're like, how the fuck could you put, I think he saw something like $3 million. Like, bro, at the time he had like a $70 million brand. You know what I mean? He's like, how could you put this number? Like, where you guys getting this number? But then like 4 or 5 guys that I know were like, yo, bro, this ain't that far from my fucking, where the fuck are they getting this info from?
Yeah, no, when I've looked up my net worth over the years, sometimes it'd be relatively close. So I'm like, shit, okay. Well, because you've said that you've been involved in crypto since 2012.
Yeah, but that was I had got rid of all that way back then, you know what I mean? So,
right, well, you said you got into Bitcoin when it was under $1.
That was, so there was a kid, Alex, who came to my store, got some Bitcoin chains here and there, whatever. And I'm sorry, it wasn't under $1. It was at this point, it was Bitcoin was $75.
Right. Pennies compared to the...
Pennies.
What's it at right now? Is it
63,000.
63,000, right.
Do you have any idea how much I wanted? That's maybe, to be real with you, I think I'm more mad about that than the Kanye Jesus piece situation.
Okay.
I had access to this. Do you know what I mean? This kid was telling me.
Well, right. You said that you got Dogecoin for under 0.003 cents.
0.0003 cents.
0003.
Yeah.
And, you said you've messed around with NFTs, but Bitcoin is where things got serious. And you actually cashed out for 8 figures on Bitcoin.
Did someone misquoted me on that, I think? And it was just a long time ago. Yeah, I was already gone out of it. I wish I had the Bitcoin that I had from back, because you got to remember, $71. Okay.
Versus $63,000.
Yeah. But I'm talking about, imagine what, 500 coins is.
I know, it's insane.
Right? It's not a lot if you're thinking about investments in stocks and stuff, right? And then do the math of what 500 coins would be times 64,000 right now.
Let's do the math. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 32 million.
Yeah. Imagine off a very small investment.
Yeah.
A fucking less than a Prius.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Honda Civic.
Yeah. Like a fucking nothing.
Yeah, 32 million.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I'm a stock investor, and it's almost guaranteed with me that as soon as I sell a stock, it will go up a lot. like every time.
Dude, that's got to be the most aggravating thing in
You
the
know,
world.
like I ended up.
Please tell me you own Tesla stock.
I do own Tesla stock.
Okay, yeah, good.
But I had to sell off a little bit of it when I got my newest watch. Not a lot of it, but then it skyrocketed right after I sold that
Oh my
junk.
God. And then I would have paid for the watch right there when it skyrocketed.
No, I wouldn't have paid for the watch.
Okay.
It's an expensive watch. But I'm just saying, you know, when Facebook was at its lowest and I wasn't feeling the whole VR meta thing, I sold a bunch of it. And then, of course, it skyrocketed afterwards.
Oh, I thought Facebook was down. But I mean, look at David Cho. He's a billionaire. You know, he's from my neighborhood. He's from Koreatown. Shit's nuts. And he looks like you're trying to, no, he actually looks like he ain't showered in a week. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just don't give a fuck.
Hey, listen, I can't complain. I've done.
But I don't know how they got this figure up there. It's the most craziest shit to me sometimes because there's like 7 different sites and they've updated it here and there. And like, I don't think there's been an update in a couple of years, but I'm just like, maybe I'll reach out to him one day and be like, yo, bro, where the fuck did you get this number from?
I mean, have you messed around with NFTs at all? Because at one point even Murakami has his own NFT collection.
I have those, you know what I mean? It's gifted me.
Yeah.
I never bought any NFTs or nothing, no.
Yeah. You know, I remember I interviewed Pleaser Dow at their height.
Who?
These are the guys who they bought the Doge photo NFT
Okay.
and sold it at like 1 pixel at a time. They bought the Wu-Tang unreleased album.
Oh, okay. Those guys? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then a bunch of other, you know.
So what, I mean, are they still in the game or?
They're still in the game, but the NFT market is not what it was a few years ago.
I mean, bro, it's depressing.
You know what I'm saying? And for me, Tyler, the Creator, kind of coined it the best in terms of what I was always thinking but couldn't put into words. And he said, I can imagine if this was just exquisite, beautiful art, but it's a monkey in a Supreme hoodie.
Yeah.
He's talking about Bored Apes.
Yeah.
And Bored Apes are selling for whatever, 75 to hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Dude, they're going for like $1 million, $3 million, $2 million at one point.
Yeah, at one point. Not anymore.
Oh, no, they're down, like big down.
But still, there's still like 50, 70,000 to get into it.
Okay, I have no idea.
That's what I'm saying. And it's like, and these are essentially computer, you know, they make a head, some eyes, a mouth, some teeth, and then they kind of randomize it. And then now they're selling for insane amounts of money. And when I look at it, I've owned Keith Haring. I own a Murakami. Like, you know, right. I'm a fan of Warhol. I'm a fan of KAWS. Like, I understand looking at this stuff. Like, you know, I interviewed Basquiat's sisters and we got to go through and look at this $1 billion Basquiat collection. Yeah. You look at it, you go, wow, like, there's clearly something this artist has done that's never been done before, and it really moves the soul when you look at it. I mean,
one of my closest friends, that's her godfather.
See what I'm saying?
She has a 101 right now that's upwards of 100 million.
Yeah, I mean, I'm friends with Russell Simmons. I remember going to his house and seeing a Basquiat Warhol on his, you know, in his stairwell.
Yeah,
I understand that, but when I see an NFT of a monkey, and this is $150,000,
and anyone can save the picture on their phone.
Anyone could save the picture, and I understand you own the copyright, but who really has taken a Bored Ape and turned it into a business by owning the copyright?
I don't know. I haven't heard
of a single person. Yeah. Yes, I've seen Snoop put it on a sweatshirt. Yippee. You know, I don't think he's made his money back on those sweatshirts.
Yeah, I don't know.
You see what I'm saying? So the whole NFT thing, you know, people, oh, this is the original tweet from Mark Andreessen or something. Oh, it sells for $300,000. Like, it's just...
But they're saying...
It's weird to me.
Some people are still like, oh, wait, it will be something in 10 years or 5 years.
And it might be. Who knows? I don't own any crypto either because I've done well with stocks.
Stocks are the most solid, man.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't feel like... I don't have, like, FOMO. You see what I'm saying? I feel like I'm good at what I do.
Yeah.
And I've made enough money to retire if I want to off of stocks and my company.
That's good.
That I don't feel like, oh, but I missed out on this bag over here. Yeah. I should have bought crypto when it was $1.
I don't have FOMO and honestly, I just don't. I don't have FOMO with anything in my life.
Exactly. But Ben Baller, man, we've been talking about doing this for a while.
Yeah, man. We fucking, and over 2 hours, bros.
Yeah, and like, you know, it was interesting because when I started going through my notes, I'm like, yo, we're the same age. We're born a few months apart. Oh, we went to UC Berkeley at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, we were both DJs. We were both breakdancers. And we had very
parallel
lifestyles in a similar business. And we all had success in our own way.
Except you like Flint's better than Everett and Jones.
I like Flint's better than Everett and Jones. This is true. I still like it better. You know? But it's just cool to see someone from my generation being successful in their own way. And being true to themselves, which is what I've always seen about you. Like, Ben Baller wasn't trying to be something that he's not. He was very unique to who he is. You know, he's Korean. He does jewelry. He's not trying to branch off and, let me be a rapper now, or let me do this now, or whatever else. It's like, yo, you're great at what you do. You stuck to your guns. It took you a while, like me, to figure out what it is that you're good at.
I'll say this to since we're wrapping it up and we're ending the show. It took until 2017 and 18, and at that point, I'd been a jeweler for over 12 years, for me to really accept the fact that I was a jeweler.
Yeah.
Because I still felt like I was a DJ, a music executive.
Yeah.
And I think about how much time I spent as a music executive, and it was like 8, 9 years, whatever. I was a DJ for a little longer. And I think about it, I'm like, bro, I'm like almost at twice the number. And I haven't even accepted the fact I'm the biggest jeweler in the world at the point, you know, whatever. I don't care if someone has more followers. I don't care about that anymore. Where's the engagement? Where's the number? When Universal and NBC did a thing where they're doing this reality show, they were like, hey, listen, probably 35 million people know your name, if not even more. It's not about the 1.9 million followers, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I thought about it and I said, you know what the crazy part is? People are washed up at 27, 30. They think they're old. 32, they're done. No one talks about them. When you turn 40, forget about it. After 45, I've become more relevant every year as the years come, and I never had to chase anything for it. And the thing is, I think that I'm very blessed that as each year goes by, my kids start to see this legacy that I'm trying to leave them, and I have a fan base from 15 to 65. So the spectrum is so wide, the demographic is so deep. I can't be mad, you know. It's a beautiful thing, and I don't do a lot of interviews anymore. I haven't done one in forever. I'll talk some shit on live here and there, and I think that this was the perfect time to kind of get on here and do this.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm glad you did it with me.
Yeah, man. No, it's try to pull out the crazy ass fucking not clickbait, but the shit that I know. It's so funny when people say, "Yo, man, Vlad is the feds, man. You're trying to get people arrested." I'm like, well, I've never done any crimes. I've never done anything illegal, so I don't care. The weed shit, that was what it was back then.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's funny, man, but...
Yeah, we've all done... I've gotten arrested. I got mixed up in the drug game at one point, but it's all past the statute of limitations, and it's all stuff that really doesn't matter anymore. So, you know, we could talk about it because...
No, I've never had a felony as an adult.
Exactly, me neither.
Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like...
So it is what it is, man. Yeah. And, you know, like I said, very happy to finally have you here. And, man, wish you all the best. And I feel like the best is still yet to come with you.
What's that?
The best is still yet to come with you.
Oh, I actually firmly believe that. Yeah. And I do think that I want to get Gobi on here. I want to get, who was the other person? Hitman. I want to get Hitman on here. Yo, Hit.
Let's do it.
I honestly feel like you might be able to get the shit that he'll never, even stuff that I know I can't, but I just feel like I think you'd be able to get it out of him.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, man. Peace.
All right, brother.